And it's a very good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and here we are. It is the Summer of Baseball coming to you live and loud, of covering the 2018-19 New South Wales State Baseball League Grand Final Series. Just in front of you, you can actually see that it's the start of the third grade Grand Final between the Ryde Hawks and the MacArthur Orioles. Earlier on today, there was the under-18s, and they had a match-up. It was Borkham Hills, and they were taking on the Ryde Hawks, and Borkham Hills came away with that game, convincing winners 8-1. And we are travelling a little bit behind the time schedules that were actually printed over the last couple of weeks, and we had a significant amount of rain here that happened last night after the women's B-grade grand final. But thankfully the boys and the club guys from MacArthur were able to put down the big covers, and as a result, the games have been able to get underway, and they have actually been played, as we can see in front of you. My name is Paul McCulloch, aka PMAC, and joining me very shortly will be Paul Harradine, aka Harrow. Because he's just getting his lineup sheets and everything else like that, because we did actually have, as I said, it was a delayed start from there, but now we are back up and running. It looks like we've got audio done the syncing, so that looks like it's working the way that it's supposed to. Cameras are all working, and Harrow's got his lineup sheet all ready to rock and roll, and we've just seen the first play of the game, basically. And my apologies, no, we've had one out, and now we have one on for the MacArthur Orioles, with the Ryde defensive lineup will be coming to you very, very shortly. But just like to also make note that this afternoon's games and this morning's game and tonight's game are being brought to you by Red Stitches Baseball and Softball Suppliers at 6/5 Sefton Road, Thornley. And they're open Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. So why not, if all your baseball and softball needs, go online at www.redstitches.com.au, browse their catalogue, or you can give them a call on 9484-0736 and let them know that Summer of Baseball has actually sent them, and that's where they got their information from. So in front of us at the moment, we do have the MacArthur Orioles batting, and now I think Harrow's got his breath together, and we're going to be crossing over to you, Harrow, for defensive lineups. You've got your breath, and I think we've got coffee on its way, so we haven't had a chance to have that yet.
We'll give it a try, PMAC. Let's see how we go here. The defensive lineup for the Ryde Hawks reads this way. In right field, we've got Dean Lawrence, and there's a play here, goes to left field. That ball hit off to left field there by the number 42, which is Roger Morris. Third batter in the lineup.
Correct.
Third batter in the lineup gets himself on base with a single to position 7. And Morris is on there, of course. And we have a one out, a runner at second base. PMAC, how did that runner get there to second base? And is it Mitch Little or Cooper Horton? That's the questions I have in my book. So let me see. Ryde, a defensive lineup in right field. As I said, it was Dean Lawrence. At centre field, it's Matt Kelleher. In left field, it will be Liam Naylor. At shortstop, we've got Rob Hill. The third baseman for Ryde is Liam Keat. The second baseman is Rob Solomons. At first base, believe it or not, Chris Dutton. At second base, Phil Ardell. And the starting pitcher for Ryde is Matt Menard. They have a designated hitter in their batting lineup, Dan Ellison. That's your Ryde Hawks lineup for this third grade grand final. For MacArthur, of course, the leadoff batter was Mitch Little.
Yep, so number 45 is standing at second.
That's Cooper Horton. There was an unusual play there. You can see all of that going on in front of you.
Yeah, real odd check swing that got in front of Phil Ardell and in between the pitcher and catcher, and basically into no man's land. and unable to pick it up and throw it in time.
So Mitch Little would have been the out that's on the scoreboard now, the first out. The lead-off batter. Cooper Horton was the number 45. Your time we were standing
Correct.
at second base, who just scored. Roger Morris got a single to left field side, and Roger Morris would be the runner at third base, I believe. And that would be Daniel Fulham at first base right now, and the designated hitter, Lockie Dean, would be at the plate, I believe, number 61. It's all happening fast and furious here in the third grade grand final of State League Baseball for New South Wales. 52 takes off, that's Daniel Fulham, heading to second base. And signal for the umpire is, he got there, hands first. So Fulham now stands at second base. Morris at third, one out. Cooper Horton crossed the plate for a run. Lockie Dean, the designated hitter wearing number 61, is the batter at the plate. Following Lockie Dean on deck is Jackson Mannix. Dean fouls that one off over the first base grandstand, the number 61. Different score sheet this time, PMAC. Differently organised,
I noticed.
No scribbles, except we couldn't get the line up until very, very late from the scorer's booth next door. Apparently the scorers are not sitting together in the booth, they're sitting somewhere else. But we did get it sorted out.
Why would they not be sitting together?
There's one scorer in the scorer's box, as you can well see, and the others are downstairs somewhere. So it was a bit of chasing, and thankfully I got all of that help. And it's all good now, except I missed the first couple of pitches of the game, obviously.
I can see where the scorers are, Harrow. They're down on the concourse.
Hit by pitch ball for Mannix. Lockie Dean, I should say. Hit by pitch ball.
That should load them, I think.
Certainly does.
Yeah, it does.
Loaded bases, bringing to the plate the third baseman for the Orioles, Jackson Mannix. Starting pitcher for the Ride Hawks is Matt Minard. So the battery for Ride Hawks in this third grade grand final, Matt Minard on the mound and Phil Ardle behind the plate. So number 54 you see on screen, Jackson Mannix, is the sixth batter in the lineup. Way to start a grand final for the Orioles. Fouls one off to the first base side yet again. So MacArthur starting with their bats well and truly on fire. With the loaded bases here in the top of the inning, that will give Ride certainly something to chase. And another wild pitch. Runner doesn't come with loaded bases. He didn't go for it. Phil Ardle chased that ball to the plate very quickly. And Matt Minard got to pitcher's cover quickly at home plate as well.
Yeah, and that was probably a little bit of respect towards both parties, which is why keep the pressure on, because it's only one out. And we just see this one that's actually just been squeezed between first base and second, and it's dribbled out to the right fielder to score another run for MacArthur.
And that right fielder out there on that side is Dean Lawrence.
So keep the pressure going.
That's for sure. So Roger Morris crosses home plate for a second run for the MacArthur Orioles. And
early trouble for the Ride Hawks.
Gee whiz, again, it's similar to the under-18s game. Balcombe Hill's got away to a 2-run lead in the first innings. Phil Ardle calls time. They go out and have a bit of a chat just to settle them all down.
So, and I'm actually just looking at the throwing action of the pitcher, and looks like they're trying to guide the pitchers.
Steering, yeah, steering. Just throw the ball. Let the catcher do the rest of the work.
some statistics, and I'll actually get
Thanks
through.
for that.
Yeah, I'll get them through for you very shortly.
Of course, you're watching the Summer of Baseball, brought to you by Sports Broadcasting Australia. Your commentators this afternoon, Paul McCulloch, and I'm Paul Harradine, and we're having a lovely sunny afternoon here now after what was a very, very wet morning. Games all delayed, of course, and this game will be followed by Game 1 of the Championship Series for first grade in State League Baseball, New South Wales. Very windy now. The rain has gone, but the wind has certainly picked up by a long, long way.
I'm just seeing who's pitching for the Ride Hawks.
I'll tell you who's pitching for the Ride Hawks. It's Matt Minard, number 48.
Yeah,
Left-hander on the mound there right now.
And not showing on the stats of actually pitching at all this year.
Okay, well that's a mystery, isn't it? That's the name that we saw on the lineup next door, number 48, and it comes up as Matt Minard, is what I've been informed.
Might have been injured and hasn't been
We
thrown.
just missed some action there, P-Mac.
Yeah, that was
out.
4-2-3 for the ground out.
And a run scored.
And a run scored, so you would have seen it up on the screen.
Daniel Fulham crossed. And
no, our viewers, sorry. That wasn't a dig at you. I'm far more subtle than that.
that should be 77 at the plate now. I think
78.
Dean Matheson. 78, I'll change it to then. It's probably still Dean Matheson. I don't have a copy of the lineup. It was just... it's not Matheson on his shirt either, so there's confusion there with names and players, etc.
And first pitch, it actually goes high, and first baseman and the catcher go charging into foul territory, and the first baseman is the one that actually takes it with the big ice cream bucket. So he takes the foul fly to close the inning down. Harrow?
So Matheson must have been the third out, I believe.
Yeah, number 78.
78 is the one that was out.
That was a foul fly 3. And the batter before that was out on a regulation 4-3.
For the second out. So they went through 8 batters.
And scored another run. So I think that's actually 3.
In the top of the first inning. So, yes, it is 3 on the scoreboard. Daniel Fulham was the third run across the plate. And that means there were 2 runners left stranded in the form of Lachlan Dean, and Jackson Mannix would have been left on base.
Yeah, so we're catching ourselves up.
Ooh-wee.
Everything seems to be, I'm not going to say back in order, but we're getting there. We are getting there, folks. So, it's well and truly, things are actually happening the way they should.
All right, the defensive lineup for the MacArthur Orioles reads this way. In right field, it's Rob Giolombardo. In left field, it's Daniel Fulham. Sorry, that was centre field, Daniel Fulham. In left field, it's Dean Matheson. The shortstop, Cooper Horton. The third baseman for MacArthur is Jackson Mannix. The second baseman, Roger Morris. At first base, it's Gavin Morgan. At first base, the catcher is Mitch Little. And the starting pitcher is John Nicol for MacArthur Orioles. So he should have number 88 on his shirt, and he does. So there may be a mix-up with Dean Matheson, 77 or 78, whether we have the right one there or not to be confirmed. It's interesting that the scorers are not up here. They're used to being behind the back net, I suppose, in their regular Sunday games.
No, well, I can actually shed a little bit of light on that one, Harrow. Knowing the scorers that actually are scoring for this game, one thing here at Blacktown International Sports Park is where the actual scorers sit, there is no disabled access.
Right, okay.
So, and that is as close to the score box as they can possibly
Oh, well,
get.
that's reasonable. We just need to be aware so we can get lineups and numbers and names correct. But we
it wasn't until I looked out the window when I was told where the scorers are sitting, and that's how I saw it.
We may have one wrong, but I think the rest are fairly accurate up there. Leading off for the Ride Hawks here is Matt Kelleher, wearing number 28 and playing centre field for the Hawks. He'll be leading off here. And facing Facing the pitching, he gets a walk. Facing the pitching
Yeah, they got him.
John Nicol.
Yeah, they got him. Well and truly.
So Kelleher hit by pitch ball.
So
One on lead off on base, and that brings to the plate Liam Naylor, the number 40 from Ride Hawks, and he has been playing left field.
And I was just looking for the umpiring panel, Harry. That we did actually have.
You've got it.
If that's not a setup, I don't know what is.
I'm innocent, Your Honour.
No, we did have a list of the umpiring panel for the the weekend.
You did. Let me clarify that statement.
It's we. It's a team. It's a team. So I will find that somewhere along the lines. I think it might have got blown
There's
out.
no I in team.
No, but there's a M and an E, which makes me.
All right then.
And 5 in individual brilliance.
Okay, Liam Naylor at the plate now. Pitch goes wide and low as well from John Nicol. And Nicol walks back up. This we don't know how fast this game's going to move along, but we will soon find out. As John Nicol goes for a bit of a stroll. This one may get to shortstop. It does get to shortstop for the MacArthur Orioles. Cooper Horton, he cuts it off. I thought it was going to get through the third baseman and shortstop there for a while, but it is Cooper Horton that retrieves that ball. Doesn't attempt to make a play. Runners had already gone. So Naylor safely at first base with a single to 6. And that moves Matt Kelleher around into scoring position at second base for the Ride Hawks. So they're on the chase now. They're chasing 3 runs. MacArthur getting 3 in the top of the innings. Ride batting in the bottom of the innings now here at Blacktown International Sports Park. And, of course, your Red Stitches scoreboard brings you that score of 3-0. But Ride just at the plate now with 2 batters through, and Dean Lawrence, the batter, steps up. Big swing and a miss. A nice big hack by Dean Lawrence. He wants to go deep. He's the right fielder, but he's got that number 22 on his uniform, and he just wants to make a difference and drive these runners in that are in front of him.
And Harrow, I do have the umpiring panel for this afternoon's game. And Phil Choi doing the plate as time is called by Mitch Little. Has a bit of a chip. Covering first and right field side of things is Nick Glazenbrack. And Glazenbrook. I can't even read my own writing. And Paul Jones doing the left field side of the ballpark.
Our earlier guest this afternoon during the back end of the under-18s game. And we had Pauls in the booth everywhere.
A cartel of Pauls. And so that pitch, well and truly out of the zone. So it's 2 balls, 1 strike.
And we've since discovered between games that the third base camera will not move at the moment. So I'll use a little bit of persuasion shortly to see if we can adjust that after this game.
We can do almost anything with a hammer.
We can.
But we're not going to use a hammer. As we just see this pitch, it's well and truly hit towards the right field side of the ballpark. And right fielder
Deep
is
right field, Rob Giambardo.
Gets underneath it comfortably and retires the Ride batter.
Yeah, Dean Lawrence goes down on a fly ball to position 9 and brings up the first out in this bottom of the innings in the first innings of the grand final in 3rd grade. State League Baseball's New South Wales 3rd grade championship game. This is for the championship trophy. It is the grand final. Number 36 stepping in. The return of Chris Dutton to a grand final for the Ride Hawks. Chris, of course, long ago was a coach and player with the Ride Hawks. He lifts that one over the head of the left fielder, and he rounds the corner at first base and drives in the first run of the game. Matt Kelleher crosses home plate, and Chris Dutton drives that run in. Nice relaxed swing at that ball but he's a big guy, and he drove it out there to the warning track in the left field side.
A lot of power in his hit there, Harrow.
Single to position 7.
A long single.
And drove in that run. And now we have Liam Naylor moving to second base. Chris Dutton standing safely at first base. And that brings to the plate the second baseman, Rob Solomons. Rob Solomons for the Hawks. Crunchies PMAC.
Thank you.
Solomons waits for this next pitch. From John Nicol, of course. Nicol throwing to Mitch Little. Mitch Little is a really long-term campaigner for the MacArthur Orioles. A real workhorse as well, as are all the little boys. The Littles, the Little family, have been great supporters of baseball, generally speaking, but in particular MacArthur and, of course, the Auburn Orioles.
That's it. And, yeah, it's a cheerio
Ground
call
ball.
to... Yeah, that's through him. Yeah, well and truly. And one run crosses the plate again. So
Certainly
that
does.
brings it back by 1.
That's Liam Naylor rounding the corner from second base. So Naylor crosses for run number 2. Chris Dutton stands safely at second base. He went down the line and had a look at third, but certainly Chris Dutton getting to second base is a big advantage, and that one put through there, through the gap by Rob Solomons.
And you may not be aware, Harrow, because you're sort of predominantly living on the north, but Bobby had a little bit of a health scare this year. But
Okay.
so it's a cheerio to Bobby, and I'm sure he's around the ballpark here somewhere.
If
so
he's not at the ballpark, he should be tuned in.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that he's here. He'll be here. It's MacArthur. It's grand final.
So it's Liam Keat at the plate now. And Keat lets that one go through to his catcher. Not the pitch he was looking for. He will wait for the pitch that he likes, Liam Keat. Another handy player for the Ride Club over the years. John Nicol throws that pitch at Keat, gets him swinging, gets this second out here. Keat goes down on strikes, a big K2. He wanted to go along with that too. He took a hard hack at it, but to no avail. Didn't make any contact. So second out now is Liam Keat for the Ride Hawks. That brings to the plate the designated hitter, Dan Ellison. Ellison with the number 14 on his plate, drives one into right field side, straight into the glove of the right fielder, Rob Giolombardo. So he's been involved in 2 outs, Giolombardo, and the last one, Dan Ellison, gives him that out there to right field side. That is the 3rd out, and fly ball to right field, if I write it correctly. 3 out now for the Ride Hawks, and they got down to batter number 7. So after 1 inning completed here at Blacktown International Sports Park, it is MacArthur Orioles 3 runs, leading the Ride Hawks 2 on the Red Stitches scoreboard. And welcome back to the action at Blacktown International Sports Park, where MacArthur Orioles head into the top of the second inning. Here, lead off Rob Giolombardo, the right fielder. He's been called into the game a couple of times in the first innings. Check swing on that last pitch, and field umpire says yes. That was a swing. He absolutely attempted to hit the ball, so Giolombardo retired with a called strike. Sorry, not a called strike, swinging strike. So 1 up, 1 down for MacArthur, the 9th batter in the lineup. And now we head back to the top end of the lineup through Mitch Little. Mitch Little, the catcher for the Orioles, number 6 on his back. And we'll see what Little can do. He was the first out of the game in the top of the first inning. Now that we're at the second, let's see if he can get something going and improve on his first one. He hits it straight to shortstop, ground ball, hard hit ball, no doubt whatsoever, but it's a 6-3 out. And the shortstop there for Ryde is Rob Hill. Rob Hill gets it across to his first baseman, Chris Dutton. And that 6-3 out on Mitch Little brings up the second out for the second innings. So no breakthrough yet. 2 up, 2 down for MacArthur in this second inning. And Chris Horton steps up now. Chris Horton, the number 45 uniform and shortstop for the Orioles in this third grade grand final. Crossed the plate in the first inning to score the first run of the game. Lifts this one up over the roof of the grandstand, I believe. It's coming down inside the net. No, just outside the back net behind home plate to the right side just a little.
Too far away for Funky Phil to grab hold of.
Yeah, even Phil's long arms wouldn't have done anything there. So Horton remains at the plate, steps back in. Be Matt Menard on the mound, getting his signs off catcher Phil Ardill. Fouls another one off, but this time into the
bleachers. Someone grabs hold.
Into the bleachers just behind first base, and it gets thrown back over into the dugout for the Orioles.
Good to see people actually chasing the balls. And so went through a few the first weekend finals.
Another big gust of wind around home plate there. That one comes to the plate, fouled off. This one might stay in the area of catching, and it is in foul territory. Ardill makes a clean catch of that one off the bat of Cooper Horton. So a foul fly ball to position 2 behind home plate. Well caught by Phil Ardill as catcher, and an excellent job there done by him. The MacArthur Orioles 3 up, 3 down in the top half of the second inning. So we head to the bottom of the second inning in just a few moments. The Red Stitches scoreboard reads 3 runs to 2, MacArthur over Ryde.
Now, are you looking for a gift for that special person or people in your lives? But why not go to Red Stitches Baseball and Softball Supplies? They've got it all. From bats to balls, uniforms and caps, Red Stitches have a complete range of baseball and softball equipment and accessories. Whether it's players, coaches, umpires or scorers, Red Stitches can get you that perfect gift. And they've got plenty of novelty items as well. Give them a call, 9484 0736. Red Stitches, located at Unit 65, Sefton Road, Thornlea. They're open Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. on Saturdays. On your way home, you can slide in and see Ashley or one of the friendly staff for a great deal on all your baseball and softball needs. Visit the website www.redstitches.com.au. Browse the massive catalogue and maybe even steal a deal. Red Stitches are proud sponsors of the Summer of Baseball broadcasts.
And welcome back to the call here, where we're starting off the bottom of the second inning for the Ryde Hawks through the bat of Rob Hill. Rob Hill, the shortstop for the Hawks. And, of course, he is at the plate right now facing the pitching of John Nicol. Nicol sets up now, gets the outside edge of the plate. One ball, one strike on Rob Hill for the Ride Hawks. And Nicol comes to the plate again, pops it up over first base, right underneath that. That goes to second baseman. He gets called off. Second baseman Roger Morris. No mistake there by Morris. Gets that high fly ball on the infield. So Hill out on a fly ball to position 4 brings up the first out, the lead off in this bottom of the second innings for the Ride Hawks. And he'll be followed to the plate now by Phil Ardle, the catcher. And he's wearing number 55, the big tall catcher.
He always has worn 55 from memory.
Yep. Well, there he is now, waiting for this next pitch as the Shadows cross over home plate. Could fall in foul territory, or it will go over the fence, and it does. It goes into the spectator area, down past the Ride Hawks dugout. The Specky's down there retrieving the ball for them. So one out now for Ride in the bottom of the second inning. Of course, this game got underway a little late because of the rain this morning, as the under-18s were 90 minutes late. We're not quite so late now. I think we caught up about 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. Start time was around about, I think, 3:45 to 3:50.
For inside.
So Nicol goes for a walk around the mound, takes his time between pitches, no doubt about that. And I was just starting to talk about the Shadows directly behind the grandstand here. The batters are in the shade. So the sun's setting directly in line with the back of the grandstand. So outfielders and right through the middle, the pivots probably, if the ball pops up over them, will be difficulty with the sunshine. They'll have to position themselves carefully. And the wind has certainly picked up here. That one gets lifted to left field side, but there's a man out there in left field for the Orioles, and he makes a good fist of catching that one, the left fielder, Dean Matheson. No mistake there from Matheson as he digs that high fly ball out of the sunlight, and it gets the out on Phil Ardle. So it's the second out now with a fly ball to 7. First out was a fly ball to 4, so they're spreading themselves out. Fly ball 7, 2 up, 2 down. Ride Hawks in the bottom of the second inning. I think this shapes up as being one of those games where both teams will go punch for punch, a run here, a run there, and keep in touch with each other right throughout the game.
And you would expect so, Harrow, because we're you have a look at the lineups on both of these teams, and there's quite a lot of old baseball heads, so they're just going to run through and do the best that they can, and just sort of they won't give up until the last out is actually made.
And I was in both dugouts a little earlier, and there are definitely some old heads in there. They ain't that pretty. But they were having fun. Most of the banter within the teams, especially the Ride dugout, they had their serious moments in preparation, but there were some very light-hearted moments before the game just to loosen the tension a bit as well, which is a smart move from the management staff.
Absolutely.
So, Nicol are ready to throw this next pitch again. This time it's Matt Kelleher at the plate, of course, the number 28, and lead off for the Ride Hawks, and he flies one out to right field. So Ride Hawks go 3 up, 3 down after a fly ball to position 9. Kelleher is the third out here in this bottom of the second innings. So through 2 innings of baseball here, in the second inning both clubs go 3 up, 3 down, but in the first innings they scored their runs. MacArthur Orioles 3 runs, Ride Hawks 2 runs after the completion of 2 innings here on the Red Stitcher scoreboard. And welcome back to Blacktown International Sports Park, where MacArthur Orioles and the Ride Hawks do battle in the third grade championship game for the grand final. And all the gold on offer after a complete season here in the State League Baseball competition of New South Wales. This grand final well and truly underway. We're in the top of the third innings. Leading off for MacArthur is Roger Morris, their second baseman. The number 42 shirt is his lucky number as he takes a strike. So on the mound, Matt Menard for the Ride Hawks. Behind the plate, Phil Ardill. Menard throws another pitch, ground ball to shortstop. It's on the charge there. Shortstop to first baseman, cannot field it. At first base, it gets bumped. It was a one-hopper into Chris Dutton's glove. Couldn't lock it in, and that throw came from his shortstop, Rob Hill. Hill didn't get it to Dutton. He went full stretch, but they'll work through that. And that puts the runner on base. Roger Morris gets to first base. What are we going to call it, PMAC?
Oh, it has to be a wild throw there.
Wild throw?
Yeah,
wild throw 6.
Wild throw 6. Just sort of having a look at it there because as you may have seen on the screen, or our viewers would have seen, because it just hit the lip of the grass and the diamond sand material, and unfortunately just hitting that lip didn't give a nice even bounce
for
Hill for the first baseman.
Yep.
And as a result, it goes down. It should go down as an error in the official scorebook, which it looks like it has.
So Daniel Fulham is at the plate now with a runner at first base. Runner at first, as the aforementioned Roger Morris. And Daniel Fulham steps in again now. He's the centre fielder for the Orioles. Takes a big swing on that as Morris takes off towards second base. Does he make it?
Absolutely.
Hill from shortstop fumbles that ball as they try to get the throw over. Just can't grab it. Just can't get the handle on it. Second baseman a little bit frustrated there, Rob Solomons, but I'm sure he'll settle down. They're having a bit of a chat now.
There's a smile on the dials.
Of course there is.
Yes, it's a grand final, but as you say, there's old heads here, and they're all sort of realise that, yeah, one out, yes, it can mean the difference, but...
what they haven't figured out yet, it's a 9 innings grand final.
Correct.
And they usually play 5 or 6 on a Sunday, or whenever they play their games early in the week. This one, ground ball, again to Hill this time. He gets it across with no mistake. The 6-3 play, Hill to Chris Dutton. And they congratulate him this time for the great play. He's just redeemed himself, young Hill.
You got to love it. So that's the sort of sportsmanship that you actually, you like to see, because although it's banter, but it's internal banter.
Of course it is.
In a good way.
It's a grand final. They're all pumped. They're revved up. So Daniel Fulham is out, and we've got Roger Morris now standing in scoring position at second base, with Lachlan Dean, the designated hitter, at the plate. Does he do the job of the designated hitter? That's a comebacker directly to the pitcher, and the pitcher gets it off, runs him down to back towards his shortstop, and Hill gets the tag on. Hill gets the tag on, and it was...
end up throwing it to shortstop.
Matt Menard getting that back there to his shortstop, which is Rob Hill, and they got that out on Roger Morris. That's very important, the lead runner.
Correct.
And they get him off that scoring position in second base. So it's a 1-6, I guess, the tag.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, 1-6.
2 out.
Yeah,
Still a runner at first base in the form of Daniel Fulham. No, he was out on the 6-3, sorry. We've got Lachlan Dean up there. At the plate, of course, it would be Jackson Mannix. What am I thinking? That ball was put into play, and Lachlan Dean gets onto base with a fielder's choice. Appeal to the umpire.
I think I actually gave him a balk.
Balk, yeah, I was just thinking that as well. So fielder's choice puts Lachlan Dean on. So MacArthur have that runner on, who it looks like just advanced to second base on a balk call. Too many players around the umpire at the moment.
Exactly. And where's his buddies?
6 players around the umpire are not acceptable. He's called time. They're going to have a chat. The coach is out there, the coach, and 5 players around there. And Chris Dutton there as well. He doesn't need to be there, the first baseman. He's trying to help his coach, Matt O'Neill. Matt O'Neill has waved him away as well. O'Neill, being the coach and head coach of the club, has said, let me deal with it calmly with the umpires. They've sent him back.
Yeah.
So the balk has been removed. And, of course, that brings the response from MacArthur.
And that will bring
how
MacArthur
can you
back.
call a balk and then not have the balk?
Yeah, so you got Jason Moyer on speaking to Paul Jones, and one of the other coaching staff having a chat to Phil Choi, the plate umpire.
Yep, all having a bit of a walk around. MacArthur have downed the gloves. They're prepared to get on with it by the look of things. Not happily, necessarily. So we now go back to Jackson Mannix at the plate. Lockie Dean still at first base. 2 outs above them. Pick-off attempt.
You knew it was coming.
And then he looks at the umpire and says, was that all right, Matt Menard? I've got to check that's Matt Menard. I'm not convinced. It's the number we were given. Well, the book tells me it's Matt Menard. It's either 46 or 48 on his uniform, so we'll go with that.
On the plate, pitching.
Yep, it will be Matt Menard, won't it? Jackson Mannix is at the plate, fouls one off. We've had 3 batters up, there are 2 out, 1 on first.
It's uniform 48, Harrow.
That's him. It is him.
Okay.
Matt Menard. He's been a campaigner for a little while with Ride Hawks as well.
That's what I was thinking.
Up and down the grades. Pick-off attempt, back from catcher, Ardil, up the line to his first baseman. Of course, Chris Dutton, always aware of those sorts of things. Lachlan Dean is the runner for MacArthur at first. Mannix at the plate. Menard looks in at his catcher, Phil Ardil, to get the signs. Time has been called. A balk has definitely been called on Menard now.
And that was from the first base umpire?
And I will bet there'll be no dispute. Here they come. Phil Ardil goes out from catcher. He's not entitled to be there. The coach is out there. He's entitled to be there. Menard, the pitcher, yeah, he could ask the question about what he did. Second baseman and first baseman need to blow through. It won't be changed this time, I can assure you.
Absolutely not.
That's Paul Jones at first base, the umpire, I believe.
No, Jones.
He's over at third, is he?
Yeah, Jonesy's over at third. The covering, it's
Nick Glazenbrook.
Nick
Glazenbrook. He's made the decision and said, that's it.
Yeah.
So after the first attempt, they've obviously watched him very closely, and Nick Glazenbrook has decided, yes, that action was a balk action. So Mannix still at the plate for the longest plate appearance all day. Don't talk, PMAC. Mouthful of chips for the viewers that are listening. And here we go now. Next pitch comes through. One hopper into home plate. That's upset the apple cart just a little bit, but very early days in this 9-inning game. We're in the top of the third here from Blacktown International Sports Park. Brought to you by Red Stitches, baseball and softball supplies. And these third grade games are always an arm wrestle. Line drive to second baseman, straight there in his glove. A little bit of a turn there for the second baseman, Rob Solomons, but he made no mistake grabbing that line drive off the bat of Jackson Mannix. Line drive to position 4 brings up the third out there and shuts down this attack from the MacArthur Orioles in any case. And no runs scored with 3 out. They leave Lachlan Dean stranded at first base. So nothing happening there. No runs scored. And MacArthur remain on 3 runs through 3 innings at the plate. Well, welcome back to Blacktown International Sports Park, where we're bringing you the third grade grand final in the State Baseball League of New South Wales. It is a battle royal between the Ryde Hawks and the MacArthur Orioles as we go to the bottom of the third inning. It's a 3-2 ball game, 1 run in it. We're in the bottom of the inning with Ryde at the plate, and leading off for Ryde is Liam Naylor. Naylor, the left fielder for Ryde, got on base through a single to shortstop and then made the best of it. From there, Naylor waiting now for the next pitch from John Nicol. Of course, gets ground ball. It's a hopper to second baseman and can't get it. Shortstop can't get it either as it rebounded off that second baseman there for the Orioles, Roger Morris. And Cooper Horton tried to retrieve it, but the runner wasn't able to go to second anyway. Naylor gets himself up the line quickly to first base. So that will be an E4, I would suggest.
Yeah, that's the way that I would have scored at Harrow. But as you know, that we're not the official scorers.
We certainly are not. Not by a stretch of the imagination.
So, but yeah, with probably our coaches' hats on.
More
so than
or numpty hats, one or the other. Dean Lawrence at the plate now. Let's not take that any further. Dean Lawrence.
Nope.
Wearing the number 22 and playing right field for the Ryde Hawks. Can he move the runner around? That's the only job he needs to do. He's third in the starting lineup. So handy with the bat.
Runner.
Leaves it alone. Throw out attempt there. Does he get him?
Oh, to be close.
He nearly rolled off second base after he went through it. And it was a very close call there at second. Great running attempt. He got there. There was only a touch in that, let me tell you. That was as close as you could ever expect him to be. And shortstop Cooper Horton, he thought he had him. He just missed out. It was just inches. Got him on the back of the shoe as the shoe hit the bag.
Yep.
Shoe, tag, that was it. Safe at second base. So it's Naylor standing there at second base. And a pop-up behind home plate goes to the crowd.
And as you said, Harrow, that he almost rolled off the bag and could have almost been a secondary tag to actually get the out.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to be.
So Dean Lawrence there, comes and steps back in again, digs in, waiting for the next pitch from John Nicol.
Resets, and then it's another foul ball.
Pops it back into foul territory. We'll go through the umpiring lineup for you. It's been requested online. The umpires for today's third grade game, behind the plate, it's actually Phil Choi. At first base, it's Nick Glazenbrook. And the third base umpire, our guest earlier in the under-18s game, Paul Jones, is the third base umpire. A good crew as well. The under-18s umpiring crew were outstanding for that game for a grand final, and they were well appointed. And the crew here, as I said, behind the plate, Phil Choi, then Nick Glazenbrook and Paul Jones at first and third bases. So for those inquiring, we will go through those again a little bit later on to make sure everybody that's tuned in a little bit later. There's a rip down the third base line. That's well out there to left field. Goes deep to the corner on the warning track. What a great rip there from Dean Lawrence. Great hit there from Dean Lawrence as he stands safely at second base. That was absolutely massive. He leaned into that and launched it.
That should have tied it all up, Harrow.
That's a double. And, of course, he drives in the run of Liam Naylor. That takes the score to 3-3. On the Red Stitches scoreboard, MacArthur 3, Ryde 3. We're in the bottom of the third innings.
Nobody out?
None out at this stage. That run scored. Dean Lawrence gets a double to 7. And that puts him certainly well and truly there. He stands in scoring position. And batter at the plate now, Chris Dutton. Now, I think Chris Dutton may have been playing recently on the Central Coast for the last few years.
And coming into this evening or this afternoon's game, batting average 5.88.
Oh, yeah. So he's always been a handy player. As I say, he played at Ryde and coached at Ryde.
Yes.
And then he played at Manly and coached at Manly in the State League some years ago before relocating to live on the Central Coast, as I understand it.
So, yeah, he's had 13 RBIs and 17 at-bats. So he hasn't had a great deal of work because he's only 7 games, but still very, very handy. And again, as you say, Harrow, doesn't matter what club he's with, a very good clubman.
And there he lifts that one into centre left field. Who's going to get to it? Will they get to it? There's sunshine out there and they don't get it. It's the sun that got the left fielder, I can tell you now. Centre field was in backup. Stands at second base. Hustles around to second base and drives in the run of Dean Lawrence. Good base running, Chris Dutton. Good hitting, Dean Lawrence. Good running as well after that ball hit the ground.
And it was heads up base running by Dutz because he actually got halfway. Didn't know where the ball was going, but when he saw the ball go well away from the bag and there was no one protecting the bag, he just throttled onto second base, so gets himself a double. And RBI double to boot.
Absolutely, certainly. And that eventually got to the left fielder. The left fielder's Dean Matheson, the centre fielder Daniel Fulham. They were there, but I'm sure that was the last bit of sunshine in his eyes. It's just in that position at the moment. Very, very difficult, and it was very, very high. So Dutton now in scoring position at second base. Lawrence crosses the plate. 2 runs scored. They go ahead by 1, the Ride Hawks, over the MacArthur Orioles in this bottom of the 3rd inning. Rob Solomons, the second baseman, is at the plate at the moment. A nice pitch there from John Nichols, straight through the outside edge of that home plate. There's some solid boys in both these teams, and I'll tell you what, they lean into those pitches and they'll be getting some runs on the board. Here's another one. Pops up to centre field, though. This should be caught. Oh, it's not. Just a run short there. 1 step short. And Dutton charges across to third base now. Wow. Centre field. Daniel Fulham just left himself a little bit short there on the run to catch that high fly ball in centre field. He was probably 1 step away from taking a nice clean catch.
And I think that also the wind that is actually howling here might also be playing a little bit of havoc on the boys, because you can actually, our viewers can't necessarily see, but in the distance you can see the bend in the trees just near that the white building. You can see all of the white bark and stuff. That's actually the bending of the trees at the moment. It is actually, quite deceptive, the breeze.
So it's Liam Keat stepping up at the plate now.
As we're getting a couple of SMSs coming through, and I know that we will, as we just see a little bit of a ground ball, 1 hop straight to the second baseman. He dishes it off to first, but unable to make the double play.
They get Rob Solomons out on the...
Dutz should have scored.
On the 4-6. The 4-6 is the first out of this innings.
Correct.
And Chris Dutton crosses the plate. And then the wild throw across there puts Liam Keat on first base as well. And I think that wild throw came from the shortstop.
Shortstop.
Yep. So we've got a runner on. We've got 3 runs scored. We've got Rob Solomons as the first out. And that will bring to the plate the designated hitter, Dan Ellison. All happens at once here. Pop up over the back of the grandstand.
But Liam Keat, he actually gets on board fielder's choice there, Harry, not the wild throw.
Fielder's choice, sorry, B-Mac.
Because of first part of the double play.
Okay. Of course it is.
Welcome.
So we've still got Dan Ellison at home plate. He's just fouled that first pitch off for a strike. Sometimes it takes a little while to happen, but when it happens, it all happens at the same time.
Absolutely.
MacArthur Orioles batting in the top of the innings, scored 3 runs so far. This one gets lifted high to left field, 7, and can't get to it. He ran from a long way. He was very, very deep. The left fielder there for MacArthur, Dean Matheson, he had a long run in. So that puts another runner on. Dan Ellison gets on base with a single to position 7, and it moves Liam Keat to second base.
And just a little bit of a chat that's going to go on the hill. Jason Moyer, who strides out and calls all the infield in.
Certainly does. We've been asked for the result of the under-18s grand final championship game here between Borkham Hills and the Ride Hawks.
I can actually give you that, Harrow.
I'm sure you can, P-Mac.
Fire
away.
Borkham Hills, they actually jumped out quite early and they won that game 8-1. Because Ride Hawks got 1 run in the deaths of the game. It was well and truly over in the 7th inning.
And thank you for that question. We're happy to answer any of those questions. Jump onto the broadcast. We'll recap as we go through the afternoon and the evening. Of course, this game will be followed by Game 1 of the Grand Final Championship Series for first grade in State League Baseball in New South Wales. Rob Hill steps in now, the shortstop, and drives one straight down the line to third base, steps on third to get the force out, gets another out at first base. That's it, double play, all over. They're out of here, the Ride Hawks, and they are down. So it was Rob Hill who hit that ball down the third base side, and that was a force for Liam Kite. He was put out at third base.
Yeah, he was put out at
so
third.
He was the second out.
Yep.
And then the third out was
5-3.
Rob Hill on the 5-3 play.
Yeah, so first double play that we've actually seen today, Harry.
Very good, and it was a good out as well. And level-headed play by the third baseman up there for the Orioles, of course, was Jackson Mannix, and he just stayed calm, stepped on the bag, fielded it off to first base as well, got that out, shut it all down, and ride done and dusted there with batting in the bottom of the third inning. And leading off the top of the fourth innings here in this grand final game between the MacArthur Orioles and the Ride Hawks, it is the first baseman Gavin Morgan, the number 62 for MacArthur. And we got pitches fouled off there. We've got 2 balls, 1 strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So I stand corrected after that foul ball. 2-2 pitch now coming from Menard to Gavin Morgan. Gets a ground ball through the shortstop. Right shortstop can't handle that one. It's Rob Hill again. It got through him. So Hill, disappointed with himself, tried to pull that out and didn't keep his head or glove down on the ball. Had to track it. It is a little bit bumpy off the edge of the grass, as P. Mac mentioned earlier. If it hits that edge, yeah, you've got to adjust to that. But because of that, you've got to be also prepared that it's going to happen. Body behind the ball if need be. So Morgan gets on. What are we saying? E6, or was it a hard hit ball?
Well, my question about that one, Harrow, is he...
Oh, I asked the question. You have to provide the answer, P-Mac.
I'd give it a boot. So, yeah, I'd give it another error. But, again, as we've mentioned before, we are certainly not the scorer. And
this is an interesting play.
I've got an out.
So has the umpire.
There we go.
Paul Jones, the field umpire at third base, calls he out there on that runner, attempting to get from first to second.
But it looks like he actually his click got stuck in the diamond sand material, and he just ended up barrel rolling into the second baseman who had the ball in their hand.
What a play! Unbelievable. He should have just been satisfied with where he was. And now we've got Dean Matheson, number 78, stepping in with nobody on base. Opportunity knocked there for the Orioles, and they blew it. If he had have settled at first, Dean Matheson may well have knocked him in.
Might have, but that's the old thing. You just never know. But play percentages, you reckon?
Absolutely. The starting battery for the Ryde Hawks, as we mentioned several times, Matt Menard is on the mound, and the catcher for Ryde is Phil Ardill. The starting battery, quite able.
That should be ball 4.
It is a ball 4. Dean Matheson takes off, and that's a walk. First, I think, ball 4, base on balls for the game. Yes, it is. Couple of hit by pitches earlier. But first walk of the game with 4 balls to Dean Matheson.
And you can see the strength of the breeze, just where the dolerite, that's our diamond sand material that's coming off the mound when the pitcher actually drags his foot.
At the plate for the Orioles, Rob Giolombardo, the right fielder, steps in, takes the first pitch. Not his, leaves it for a called strike. 1 out here for the Orioles. 1 out, 1 on base, and 1 strike on the batter. Menard checks the runner before he comes to the plate, the big lefty. He gets it through shortstop as well. No way that Hill was going to get to that. Hard hit ball, single to position 7 in left field by Giolombardo. So he's at first base. He moves Matheson into scoring position at second base. And that will take us back to the top of the order, where catcher Mitch Little will step up. The Ryde outfielders Liam Naylor in left field. At centre field, it's Matt Kelleher. In right field, Dean Lawrence. Little awaits the next pitch from Menard. Took a bit of pace off that one, Menard. Dropped it into the zone. It only just dropped at the last minute.
And looked like Mitch was just sort of shaping to, if it was a fastball, it looked like he was going to bunt, but he could read that there's a lot of velocity taken off it, so he just pulled his bat away.
That's for sure. Let's see what Menard offers up now for his catcher's signals. Phil Ardill picking the pitches out for him. Ardill settles again, puts the signs down. Menard comes to the plate.
Yeah, low and well inside.
1 ball, 1 strike, as signalled by plate umpire Phil Choi. You can see that shadow over the ground between home plate and the pitcher's mound. Pop fly. Phil Ardill can't track it, quite windy up there, and it moved. He may have complained about somebody calling out. Nobody's done anything there. It's windy, and that's just the way it is.
Throw your helmet away. Don't carry it with you.
He did carry the helmet around, didn't he? Might be a bit precious, that helmet.
Well, he might have been trying to use that as a
catching bucket.
So that way he's got 2 mitts.
Oh, dear. And he reached out with the left one eventually. But it is very windy up there.
Absolutely.
Once you get up over the roof of the grandstand, it's coming from a different direction completely. So you think you've got it covered, and then when it drops down, it changes.
As you can see on the screen, you can see the trees around the batter's eye at centre field sort of wobbling around a bit as well. So it's distinct breeze blowing in all types. It's like swirling.
Little steps in again. And Menard steps off. Keeping an eye on that runner. The runner out there is Dean Matheson at second base. And that's the one he's worried about. He's in scoring position. There's only 1 out here in the top of the 4th inning. There's a pop-up here. We'll probably go to the dugout, in fact, the Ryde dugout. In fact, above that, into the grandstand. On the third base side, above the Ryde dugout.
And the little kid's going to run it down.
As long as they don't run it down the stairs, they'll be okay.
Well, he doesn't have scissors. He can run.
Correct. I think. Menard gets the ball ready. Has a look up now to get his signs. Nobody goes. Loose ball in front of the catcher. Big cheerio, of course, to our regular viewer in Brisbane, Glenn Long, a long supporter of the Sports Broadcasting Australia, in fact, part of the Sports Broadcasting Australia crew from time to time. That one goes to centre field. Runners get held in their positions, but Little lifts that one away. Line drive to centre field. Hard to defend those. Too high to catch and not high enough to be all the way out to centre field. So well hit ball there from Little. A single to centre field. He goes to first base. He pushes his runners around to load them up. Dean Matheson stands at third. Rob Giolombardo stands at second. Orioles loaded bases and stepping up to the plate. The second batter in their order, Cooper Horton. Shortstop Horton, let's see what he can offer up here with loaded bases. And only one out. We're in the top of the fourth inning. He lifts one to centre field. It's deep out there. Getting underneath it and making the catch. All runners tag up. One tag, all tag. Matt Kelleher takes that catch in centre field. Gets it back into his third baseman. That's Liam Keat. But not until a run is scored. First one across the plate, Dean Matheson.
So that's one more.
He's in there. Giolombardo stands at third base. Little stands at... Hang on a minute. They must have scored 2 runs. Oh, no, there was an out. I'm sorry. My apologies.
So, and then it just put runners in the corners.
Yeah, Cooper Horton was the one out on the fly ball to centre field for the second out. Then run scored was Matheson, which means at third base it would be Giolombardo. Mitch Little stands at first base.
Yeah, so number 25, yeah, so Rob Giolombardo, he's standing at third.
Yep.
So you are correct, Tara.
Thank you, PMAC, for reinforcing it once again.
Welcome.
Runners on the corners, 2 out here in the top of the fourth inning. Roger Morris stepping to the plate. 2 out, Roger Morris steps in. MacArthur getting a 4th run on the board now. Score on the board, 5-4. As we said, punch for punch this ball game, an arm wrestle. Attempting play there for Ride, playing to first base. Chris Dutton in an attempt to get the runner to leave third and maybe get him out in a rundown. The third base runner, not really worried about the first base runner too much, I would suggest, with 2 out. Fouled off directly behind home plate by Roger Morris. Morris, of course, is the second baseman for the MacArthur Orioles. Been a very strong club over the years since setting up the MacArthur Orioles many years ago. They have a great home ground out there at Gilchrist Reserve.
That they do. At
Campbelltown, a great facility and being well supported by governments and council. Next pitch misses way outside there from Matt Menard. Big shout out to all the viewers that are tuned into this third grade game. First grade game will be on later in the evening, about 30 minutes or so after the completion of third grade. And that will be game 1 of the 3-game series for the first grade championship of State League Baseball New South Wales. Through the top of the fourth inning, we started about 3:50, nearly 4 o'clock when we started this afternoon, New South Wales time. Morris just looking down the line to get his signals off the third base coach and asks them to be repeated again. Seeking a little bit of clarity. Menard comes to the plate now. Runner goes.
Runner going.
They attempt the play. No run from third base either. Interesting. No temptation at third, thinking they might have been being set up.
Just in case.
Yep. That was a good stolen base there from MacArthur Orioles. Puts Mitch Little into scoring position as well. There's 2 out here, so if Morris can get bat to ball, then certainly if he can get one in the clear, they stand to score maybe 2 runs. Strong possibility. 2 out though, Roger Morris rips one foul down the third base side. That was a hard hit ball from Morris, and that's what they're looking for, but they need it to go fair. Score is 5 runs to 4. Ride over MacArthur. So everybody resets now after that foul ball. Morris setting up there. Menard again gets signals from Phil Ardill, his catcher. And comes to the plate. That one gets lifted into centre field and out there in centre field. That's going to be caught. That will shut down the inning. And Matt Kelleher makes a good fist of that one. The fly ball on Roger Morris to position 8. That brings up the 3rd out here in the top of the 4th innings. And with 3 out, halfway through the 4th innings, the score is Ride 5, MacArthur 4 on the Red Stitches scoreboard. And welcome back to the action here in the 3rd grade Grand Final Championship game. This is the one for the money. After this, there is no more season. It is the end of the 2018-19 State League Baseball 3rd grade competition at the completion of this game. We are in the bottom of the 4th inning, and leading off is the 9th batter in their lineup, Phil Ardill, who is the catcher here today in this Grand Final game. Still on the mound for MacArthur, John Nicol on the mound, and Mitch Little, the catcher, putting the signs down for him. Nicol comes to the plate. Ardill fouls it off into the back net and down into the crowd. Double back nets here with a slight gap in between. And Nicol takes his time coming back to the plate. Phil Ardill looks up to third base where there is no coach to give him signals. Just go and do the job, Phil.
He normally does the coaching himself.
He knows. He knows what he's going to do. Nice curveball there from John Nicol. Just very subtle. Took the pace off it, turned it in. Phil Ardill still looking out there towards the pitcher, trying to decide what he's going to do next. I know what he's going to do next. He's probably going to swing the bat at something close. And there it is. He swings it, fouls it off over the back of the grandstand roof. Fresh ball from the dugout on the MacArthur side. The sun starting to disappear behind some clouds. which removes the issue of sunshine and shade for the fielders at the moment.
Yeah, and then the lights will come on shortly. I think about 6 o'clock, I think they come on.
Automatically, PMAC. Oh, that's ripped to the left field side. Nice line drive from Phil Ardell. He really gets that one, gets behind it and lays into it and just flattens it out. What a lovely hit. Good piece of batting there from Phil Ardell. Line drive out there to position 7. That gets him on base, starts something off there for the lead-off for the Ryde Hawks in this bottom of the 4th innings. And that will take us back to the top of the order through the centre fielder, Matt Kelleher. Kelleher gets his signs, and I believe the coach at third base would be Terry Hill.
I did actually see Terry a little bit earlier as we came into the venue.
Pretty sure that's who it is. He's rotated between a few clubs. He used to coach at North Shore in the past.
And Manly.
Played at North Shore, coached at Manly, coached at Ryde.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a journeyman, but around the northern side of Sydney.
If he turns around and it's uniform number 88, you guarantee it's Terry.
He's got a shiny jacket on. I think it's one of the older Ryde jackets that was sort of a satin finish. So Matt Kelleher looks down the line to get his signals.
Yeah, he shapes to bunt, but lets that one go on inside.
Yep. Let's see if there are any surprises here in this lineup as we go through the bottom of the 4th inning. So Kelleher, top of the order for the Ryde Hawks. Waits the next pitch. There it comes through, strike right down the pipe. Just agrees with the umpire, looks back at Phil Choi behind the plate, goes, yep. Yeah, pretty good call because it was right over the middle of the plate.
There.
So Nicol steps up to get his signs off his catcher, Mitch Liddle. And it is Matt Kelleher, 3-1 pitch.
Runner going.
And gets there easily, does Phil Ardell.
Ball 4.
There it is, ball 4 issued. Nobody played.
Nothing to play.
Kelleher walks to first base. Ardell advances anyway on the force. Only 2 batters up with none out.
Yeah, okay.
Bottom of the 4th inning, only 2 batters to the plate so far in this bottom of the 4th, and Liam Naylor steps in. Naylor, the second baseman. It's interesting, you know, these clubs started way back in, was it September?
Yes.
For this competition, and here we are in the very last weekend of March. Oh, nice rip, fair down the third base side. Just inside the line by 4 inches, if that. And they turn. They will score 2 runs. Absolutely sensational base running. A great hit there from Liam Naylor. You couldn't ask for any better. With a stand-up double down the line to position 7 in left field. Stand-up double for Liam Naylor, but it drives in both those runs. Phil Ardell and Matt Kelleher. They turn the corner across home plate, and they had plenty of time to do that. So nobody on base now with Dean Lawrence stepping in. 2 runs scored by the Ryde Hawks takes their total to 7. Dean Lawrence steps in.
Liam Naylor, he's the one on base.
Yes, he is. Standing at second after a double. Stand-up double. And Lawrence is batting in the 3 slot, the number 22. So John Nicol will probably be trying to stay away from his wheelhouse. That one gets fouled off straight over the roof.
And it's bouncing around. There's at the top there, so
rolling,
that's going to get caught in the bucket.
Down the back of the broadcast booth.
There is a bucket up there that catches balls.
Has it got legs?
No. No.
How does it know where the ball is to catch it?
Because that's just it funnels.
Okay, John Nicol on the mound now, looking for his signs from Mitch Liddle.
Don't believe me.
And, of course, Dean Lawrence. I've just got this mental note.
I know.
Of a bucket running around the roof. Oh, look out. Who's snoozing? Little just trying to find if there's anybody having a little bit of a sleep out around second base there. As Liam Naylor strolls back around second base, and the shortstop and second baseman strolling around as well. Sun comes out again to create that big shadow, which is now over the pitcher's mound. Oh, stepped off, didn't throw it. So, game slows down just a little here in the fourth innings. This dig taking a little bit longer than others. And ground ball to shortstop now. He gets down, stays down, picks it up, gets it across to his first baseman to get that out. The out is given though. He dropped it as he tried to take it out of his glove. So the out issued on a charging Dean Lawrence.
Yeah,
on a 6-3 ground ball.
Just watching that again, and yeah, so lost on the transition. I can deal with that.
And that is the first out, and it moves Liam Naylor across to third base now. So that play from Cooper Horton across to his first baseman, Gavin Morgan. That's a good call by the first base umpire, Nick Glazenbrook. No question about that whatsoever. Chris Dutton at the plate. Can Dutton open this up a little more? We've got Ride carrying 7 runs now. MacArthur, who are batting in the top of the innings, 4 runs. So it's 7-4 lead that Ride have over the MacArthur Orioles on the Red Stitches scoreboard. That one wide off the plate. It's a pretty solid batting lineup that the Ride Hawks bring to this grand final.
Absolutely.
Good stats from all of them. We heard the stats for the under-18s. They were outstanding statistics for both teams. Batters in the 300s and 400s throughout the season. Dutton turns on that one only to foul it off down the third base side.
And just having a quick look at the lineup that or the statistical information that I have for the third grade for the Ride Hawks, and as we suspected, a lot of the under-18s have been playing games in the thirds and the seconds as well.
And that can give them 1.5 games a weekend, or at least more innings of play. Yeah. If they've played 18s on the Saturday, they can't come in until after the third inning on the third grade game. Or any other game after that. Oh, Mitch Little cannot take that one. Was up on the net, just inside the net. Always hard to catch once you look up.
As you can see, he just goes back to the net and sort of a bit of a groan internally, thinking that he should have had that.
Go back, brush it off, and
start again.
Think again about the sign that he puts down for John Nicol and what pitch he wants him to throw towards Chris Dutton. The wise man would say stay away from the zone, work the edges for Dutton. He likes to pull a ball hard left. So probably working the outside, and that's what they do. They get him to foul off on that right side again.
Low and away. Go after him. Low and away.
Yeah. Bit of a stroll. I just wish sometimes that John Nicol might stay on the mound and wait for the ball to come back rather than go for a stroll for half a kilometre.
Well, as you know, everyone has their own little routines.
It's his prerogative.
Yeah.
Ground ball goes to shortstop, and that's Horton. Oh, no, they don't get the out at first base. That ball gets bobbled. Wow, that was
no one's paying attention
Cooper Horton, and the run scores. That will be safe, easily safe, easily safe. Half his body was across there before he got tagged. So Cooper Horton really didn't get that throw away well. It was really tough. And then by the time he got it off to his first baseman, Gavin Morgan, he had to stretch and couldn't handle it.
Wow, and that was heads-up play, heads-up base running.
So that was it there. That was Liam Naylor, who crosses for another run. And at first base, of course, we've got Chris Dutton. So that's definitely E6, PMAC. Yes, no?
So,
wild throw 3.
Wild throw.
Wild throw 3. Wild throw 6. Gee whiz.
Yeah, it's one of those brain explosions more so than anything else. And,
Yeah, well, to not pay attention after that is the problem when they're all got their back turned and you've got Liam Naylor standing at third. He's got a set of wheels. He goes, well, okay, let's go then.
Yeah, bring it on.
So he puts another run on the board for the ride. They've scored 3 runs in this bottom of the 4th inning. And that nice, gentle swing there from Rob Solomons. Little ordinary Rob, however. And I think that's part of the pitching of John Nicol. And just moving that ball around.
Just enough of a tail.
Nice curve. And there it goes again. Tries the same shape and he gets a pop-up. Second base going after that one. At second base for the Orioles out there, of course, it's Roger Morris. And he gets that all-important out. And that's on Rob Solomon. So that's the second out. Fly ball to position 4. 2 out now in the bottom of the 4th innings for the Riot Hawks. 1 runner on base and coming to the plate. Number 38 is Liam Keat, the third baseman for Ryde. They've scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 4th. The only inning they didn't score runs was the second. If you can score runs in every inning of a 9-inning game, you've got 9 on the board.
At least.
That would be pretty good.
That would be a good effort.
So some sort of a batting lineup for this third grade side. And the ground ball gets through the third baseman, goes to left field. And as it gets through Jackson Mannix, it goes out to Dean Matheson again. Matheson fields that, gets it back in, but not until after they've got Liam Keat safely at first base with a single to 7. And they advance Chris Dutton into scoring position at second base. 2 runners on for the Ryde Hawks. That will bring to the plate Dan Ellison. Ellison, of course, the designated hitter role for the Ryde Hawks this afternoon. 2 on, 3 runs scored, 2 out, bottom of the 4th innings, grand final, championship game between Ryde Hawks and MacArthur Orioles. That one gets through the gap as well, through the shortstop. Chris Dutton turns the corner at third. Will there be a play at home? No, there will not be. He hasn't got to home plate yet. He has now. He missed home plate when he ran over it. And pitcher Nicol was onto it. He told Mitch Little and he couldn't get back quick enough. But that's another run. That's a big run for Chris Dutton from second base.
Wow. So that's 9.
Another one scored. Of course, Liam Keat now stands in scoring position at second base. Dan Ellison at first base with a single to position 7. Back-to-back singles to position 7. He's out there doing what he can, but that went straight through the gap. The shortstop, Horton, was tied up there with the runner. He was lining up the runner behind him, staying there, tracking him. That opened up the gap between shortstop and third, and that's exactly where the ball went off the bat of Dan Ellison. 2 runners on for Ryde, and at the plate, Rob Hill, the 9th batter in this inning, to come to the plate. Come to the plate he does and gets a strike on the outside edge. A throw over to second, won't get an out. Runner goes back, Liam Keat goes back and stands. So 9 batters put through the plate in the 4th innings here for the Ryde Hawks. They put 7 batters through in the 3rd inning as well. A busy day at the office as we get a second strike through a swing and a miss off the bat of Rob Hill. MacArthur trying to get that 3rd out, shut down this attack from the Ryde Hawks. Ryder jumping out to a lead that MacArthur need to contain at this stage of a grand final game. And he does get the out, a swinging strike for the 3rd out. K2, that brings up the 3rd out on Rob Hill from the Ryde Hawks, and it shuts down this attack. But after they've put 9 innings through the plate and they've scored 4 runs in that inning to take their tally to 9. So the Red Stitches scoreboard after 4 innings completed in the 3rd grade grand final, Ryde Hawks lead MacArthur Orioles by 9 runs to 4 on the Red Stitches scoreboard.
And welcome back to Blacktown International Sports Park, where you are listening to the Summer of Baseball. It's Harrow and I'm PMac, and we're coming to you on this third grade grand final between the MacArthur Orioles and the Ryde Hawks. And as you can see, it is the top of the fifth inning, and it looks like Ryde have starting to show their hand a little bit. They've brought in a bit of a pitching change. New on the mound is number 35, Kyle Cross. So Kyle's going to be probably expected to go for about a middle order relief, and maybe even to try and shut this game down for the Ryde Hawks, whose bats are well and truly on fire at the moment. Their 9 runs have come off 10 hits, but they have conceded 4 errors, whereas on the other side of the coin, MacArthur Orioles, 4 runs off 6 hits, and they have conceded 2 errors. And we're about to get back underway on the top of the 5th innings.
And as we do get that underway on the top of the 5th innings, lead off is Daniel Fulham, the number 52 and centre fielder for MacArthur Orioles. In this top of 5, scoreboard opening up at 9 runs to 4. There's a bit of a gap there, 5-run gap, of course, is the gap that clubs like to have. That saves loaded bases and a home run going over the fence to tying 4-run scores. So it gives them quite a bit of insurance there for the Ryde Hawks. MacArthur, of course, will try and change that landscape as that next pitch gets fouled off as well by Daniel Fulham. So 2 strikes, fouls by Fulham. Leads off here. He is the 4th batter in their lineup, so do you think he's got some armoury there? And that new pitcher, as PMac alluded to, top of the 5th innings, Kyle Cross, wearing the number 35. See what he brings to this game. So missing inside and low there. Good crowd now, and there will be more coming in because the first grade game will certainly attract some attention. Ryde having played in the under-18s and this third grade, high fly ball right field side now as the sun has come out again, and that ball is well and truly caught in right field side by the right fielder Matt Kelleher, and he's got a bit going on out there with wind up in the sky and a bit of sunshine just to his left hand side. Not quite so bad for him as it is in centre field or left field.
Absolutely, and but it looks like that on the positive side of things for the later game or this evening, it looks like that the wind might have died down sufficiently so it's not going to play or be such an important factor, even though there is still quite a lot of breeze there.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right, PMac, on that breeze. It does tend to pick up in the afternoon, then drop off again. That's only for people that like sailing between 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, good on you.
True story. Daniel Fulham lets the next pitch go by. Called strike there. Gets the outside edge. Does Kyle Cross.
Fulham actually got... He was put out, no?
He was too. So that is Lockie Dean. Lachlan Dean is at the plate. That was the fly ball that we just discussed, PMac, wasn't it?
It was.
Just my tracking device broke down. It's called a brain.
That one's gone through the infield. It's
Certainly
gone through
does.
the 5-6 hole.
5-6 couldn't get it. He gapped him. And that is Lachlan Dean standing safely at first now with a single to 7. I feel like I've written down single to 7 quite a few times in the previous inning, in the previous half. Ground balls out to the left side, and that's the man that's got the sun in his eyes if anything gets up high. Centre field and left field at the moment. So Dean gets on base for the Orioles. Orioles, of course, chasing 5 runs down. And Jackson Mannix might be the man to get that going.
And just bringing up Jackson Mannix's stats as we watch this
ball.
play.
First half of a double play. Will they get it? Yes, they will.
Like
Easily.
shelling peas.
Plenty of time. Regulation ground ball to second baseman. It goes 4 to 6 to 3, I think, are the numbers,
That's
PMac.
exactly the bingo numbers that you like. So 4, 6, 3 for the lotto for this coming week. Mind you, wouldn't have minded if it was last week's lotto. That was
Absolutely, only 50 million.
Yeah. But anyway, I think on the Red Sixers scoreboard, that has actually concluded the inning with that double play for the 4-6-3 double play. And that will mean that the Ride Hawks will go to the bottom of the 5th with a 5-run lead. 9-4 in favour of Ride.
And welcome back to Blacktown International Sports Park, where you're watching the third grade grand final series. And leading off in this bottom of the 5th inning is Phil Ardill, 9th in the order for the Ride Hawks, wearing number 55 and playing catcher this afternoon in this all-important game between the Ride Hawks and the MacArthur Orioles. You can see the shadows over the infield now, and I think players will be happier later on in first grade when it's all under lights and in the shade, as opposed to these third graders doing it tough. A couple of fielders there, shortstop in particular, got the sun in his eyes. Third baseman goes from shadow to sunshine, and even the pitcher to some extent.
And you normally see it sort of the mid-game, the mid-afternoon game. So we'll see it tomorrow with about the 2 o'clock game, which is a second grade game, where the shadow is on the pitching mound. Oh, sorry, in the batting box.
Yeah.
But the pitching mound is in full sun, so it goes from light to dark.
Yeah, so that will be interesting. We had that with under-18s earlier today, and fouled off there by Ardill. And you may have seen him put his hand up there, indicating to the runners that are not on base not to go. So our scoreboard here at the Blacktown International Sports Park is absolutely terrific. It was recently new, well, at least 12 months ago, I suppose, a new scoreboard, LED style, and it is a very good scoreboard.
It's actually pretty good, Harrow, because you can actually get video information up to it and playing and
absolutely
sound coming through.
So even now with bright sunshine directly onto it, we can still read all the numbers.
And there have been some defensive changes that I'll get to you very shortly.
Thank you, PMAC. John Nicol, ready to throw this next pitch to Ardill. He doesn't know if it touched him or not. No, I think he's saying, no, it didn't. If it did, he wouldn't take it anyway. I believe that may fill the count. So I believe this is a 3-2 pitch coming from Nicol on the mound.
That's ball 4.
And it is ball 4. That was the full count pitch. And Phil Ardill, another strong at-bat. Base on balls for the lead-off. He goes to first base. And if you want your lead-off batter to do something, that's exactly what you want them to do.
And I do have some of those defensive changes for the MacArthur Orioles. Now playing third base is Tommy Stanton. So Tom Stanton is now playing third base. And at centre field, so Cooper Horton. So Cooper Horton has got moved over to centre field.
Okay, so he is at 8.
And Daniel Fulham is now the left fielder.
He's at 7. Has Jackson Mannix been replaced?
I believe so.
Tom Stanton's at third, you said?
That's correct.
Right. Okay.
And the new pitcher is number 47, Ben Cobb.
This one here. No.
Yes.
The MacArthur pitcher?
Yes, the MacArthur pitcher.
Okay.
They've
Ben
actually
Cobb.
just changed. Ben Cobb. So and I'll just grab Ben Cobb's figures, just bring them up. So an ERA of 4.96, 2-1 win-loss, and he's appeared in 7 games, thrown 16 1/3 innings, given up 23 hits, 11 runs, 9 of them have been earned, and 12 strikeouts. So that's Ben, and I believe Ben's a younger one of the players. A little bit of a sidearm type action.
Okay, sidewinder. Let's hope that he
not
does
totally,
well.
but it's just sort of not entirely overarm for as you're just watching
He's a
it.
big, tall, lanky figure of a young fella, I can tell you that. Number 47.
And it looks like, yes, Jackson Mannix was replaced, Harrow.
Okay, the third baseman. Interesting. So who's at shortstop?
Same person.
You said Cooper Horton went to centre field.
Yeah.
Centre fielder went to left field. Left fielder is Dean Matheson.
Okay.
52 is in left field.
I'll find a shortstop for you.
That's Daniel Fulham. So I'm thinking Dean Matheson may well have come in.
I'll find a shortstop. I'll get the research department onto it.
Thanks, PMAC. I'm guessing it's Matheson, number 78. You'll see him from centre field. Okay, here we are. Ben Cobb about to step up and pitch with a runner on base in the form of Phil Ardill. He'll be throwing to Matt Kelleher. Pick-off attempt now.
That's close. It was very close. Need him to turn around.
I think I've got number 28 in here, Matt Kelleher. Should be at the plate. I suspect that may have changed. It doesn't look like 28 unless I had it wrong in the first place.
58 is
58.
at the plate. For Ride.
Okay, well, it was Matt Kelleher leading off, batting behind Phil Ardill.
Okay, and it's a random thing. I have actually just sort of brought up the chat post, and yeah, we're getting a little bit of mixed messages up here in the booth, so we will actually confirm that all for you. That's up on the chat line. So yeah, give us a little bit random thing, and we'll get it back to you very shortly.
So it's Cobb, Ben Cobb on the mound now. He's pitching out of the shadows. Very mixed shadows across the infield. It's almost like you'd want to suspend something for a moment to have it. Lays down a bunt, the number 58, and up the line now to get the out on him. They get that, and another out at third base is gone as well. So they're trying to advance Phil Ardill, and he becomes the second out, and it is the number 58. And I believe Matt Kelleher was 28.
Yep.
So the first out will be Matt Kelleher on a 2-3 play, I believe it was, on the bunt.
And Connor Saintree was number 58. I've just got that confirmed. And
Thank you.
It looks like Mannix is the shortstop.
Connor Saintree is the out, so he becomes the first out in the bottom of the 5th innings. The second out, Phil Ardill at third base. Put out at 5, and the shortstop was Jackson Mannix. So he just changed position.
Yep.
Where did Tom Stanton come into all of that then? I haven't got anybody out of the game yet. Anyway, we'll figure that out as we go, I suppose. And changes in what's happening with scorers and positional play and replacements in the middle of this game in the 5th inning. Number 40 at the plate now is, in fact, Liam Naylor with 2 out here, bottom of 5. Ground ball goes to shortstop. You won't make any mistake there. We've just changed him over. 6-3 is the out. Liam Naylor out on the 6-3 and rolls that play, as you said, to bring up the third out. So in the bottom of the fifth innings, Ride Hawks go 3 up and 3 down. All of a sudden, that fifth innings is done and dusted. No runs added to the scoreboard for Ride, and they will remain on 9. After 5 innings completed on the Red Stitches scoreboard, it is Ride Hawks 9 runs, leading the MacArthur Orioles 4 runs.
But it may be that Tom Stanton came in for Matheson. So Dean Matheson.
Right.
So that looks like where he's actually came in or come into the game.
Right.
So Tom Stanton in for Matheson.
At left field.
No, Tom Stanton's third base. Left field is Fulham. You've already changed that.
Okay, thank you.
And, the shortstop was Mannix. So hopefully random thing. That made sense to you.
So you think it's Matheson that's left the game?
Correct. And it's Connor Sainsbury for
Got that?
Ride.
Yep.
Okay. So I think that's it. That's all good. We'll be back shortly.
And welcome back to the action here at Blacktown International Sports Park, where we go to the top of the 6th inning here in this 3rd grade championship grand final game between MacArthur Orioles and the Ride Hawks. For those that have just tuned in, the 1st grade game is delayed due to a late start here in the under-18s grand final, which was delayed 90 minutes due to wet grounds and getting it prepared after the rain we had overnight. And for those that have been tuned in all afternoon, I know I'm repeating myself, but I have to tell the new viewers, high fly ball into the Bermuda Triangle.
Absolutely.
Between second base, right field and centre field. And that one dropped in very, very neatly for the leadoff, which is Gavin Morgan for the MacArthur Orioles. First baseman Morgan gets up there and gets on base to do something here for the Orioles. They certainly need it. They've got a 5-run deficit to make up here. So fly ball to, I think it ended up being centre field.
Centre field or the second baseman? I think the second baseman picked it up.
We'll do that then, PMAC, whatever you like.
Do you want to know some other changes? Defensive for the Ride Hawks?
Oh, I'd love it. Yeah. Just give me a moment to catch my breath. High fly ball to the right field side.
Basket cake.
And that out was on Tom Stanton, 70. I'm losing my voice.
You're losing your voice, so how about you clear your throat and I'll give the defensive changes as far as we know it up here in the booth. Connor Sainsbury has gone to left field. So Connor Sainsbury over to left field and Naylor has moved to centre field. So they're the changes defensively as we know it at this moment in time. And remember that we have limited communication with the scorers. But, so Naylor at centre, Sainsbury to left. And Harrow's cleared his vote.
I am. I think I was drowning in salt or water or something. I'm not sure what it was.
Coffee.
Just seized up. Not even coffee.
Actually, no, it wasn't coffee.
So that would be Tom Stanton, number 75, standing safely at first base. 25, Rob Giolombardo is at the plate now for the Orioles. And they need certainly to get going here. Kyle Cross came onto the mound last innings and is ready to go now. He fired up in the 5th. We're in the top of the 6th inning and Phil Ardill still behind the plate for the Ride Hawks. Let's see if Rob Giambaldo can get something going and keep these runners moving. In fact, Stanton was the out, was he not?
And that pitch.
It's Gavin Morgan at first base.
On the outside edge.
So Cobb looking in now at the signs from Ardill to get this going. And Jill Lombardo waiting patiently at home plate. Long time between pitches here from Cross. 3 balls and 1 strike. Three-one pitch now from Cross to Jill Lombardo. See if we can get a result here from this pitch. And ball missing downside. He walks.
Yeah, ball 4 on that one. So it was well and truly down in the zone. Not by much, actually. When I just looked at the head-on shot, it just must have been underneath the kneecaps.
Good at-bat from Jill Lombardo.
And that's going to now take it to the top of the order. It's going to be catcher for the MacArthur Orioles, number 6, Mitch Little.
That's the one, P-Mac, Mitch Little, campaigner, doing a good job behind the plate for MacArthur. Let's see what he can do with the bat now. We've got 1 out, 2 runners on base. They're on the charge, MacArthur Orioles. Called strike, nicely located by Cross. Goes outside.
Yeah, it's 1 out. Yep.
Not Little's pitch. Who will wait for the one he wants. I think that was down lower for Mitch Little. He'll be looking for something that he likes. As the runners get checked now, and he fouls one off directly behind home plate. That's the general vicinity Mitch Little likes the pitch to be. A little bit high in the zone though for him. So 2 on with only 1 out here, the top of the 6th innings from Blacktown International Sports Park, where you're listening to the Summer of Baseball presented by Sports Broadcasting Australia. I'm Harrow, and P. Mac is our other commentator for this 3rd grade game, the grand final. The State League Baseball, New South Wales. The earlier game, the under-18s, was won by the Balcombe Hills over the Ride Hawks by 8 runs to 1. In a good battle, the scoreboard didn't indicate the closer proximity of that game. Balcombe Hills kept getting the runs, and Ride could not get across until the very last inning of the game when they got 1 run across the plate.
Yeah, because the Ride Hawks just didn't capitalise on the opportunities that they put themselves in, because they put themselves into good position to actually score a couple of runs, but unfortunately didn't quite happen, and the ball didn't go their way. And Borco 8-1 scoreboard, as you say, didn't really reflect the calibre of the game.
Just couldn't convert. It has been a good day of baseball here overall. This is the 2nd game of the day. Of course, we're followed by the 1st grade game 1 of the Championship Series in 1st grade for State League Baseball, New South Wales.
And Harrow, I know that we actually made mention in the earlier game, but make mention again now for the MacArthur guys. A big hats off to the effort that they put in last night at around about 10:30 last night to get the covers on after the grand final of the women's B grade competition. They put the big cover out, and as a result, that's the only reason that these games have actually gone ahead today.
Certainly, when those covers came off this morning at about 10 a.m, covers had been on for 12 hours, the rain ceased, and the ground was in good condition. High fly ball goes foul down the 3rd base side.
Yeah, because the site itself received 39 mils of rain, and to be playing the games here, it's hats off to the work that was done.
And as we said previously, there are still a few damp patches around behind home plate, just a little bit. The ground has dried out with the sunshine we've had since then, and the breeze that's blowing now certainly drying the ground out. It's in very good condition considering what it went through last night. Enough of that now, as Mitch Little is still at the plate, still wielding that bat away. And he pops one foul over the right field side now. Good plate defence there from Little.
Just puts the bat there and just sort of fouls it off.
So Phil Choi, the plate umpire. We have a 2-2 the count now. 2 balls, 2 strikes now on Little. Lifts one into centre left field. That will go deep to the track, surely. Yes, it will. Left fielder cannot get to it. Turns him around completely. 1 run will score, possibly 2. Yes, they're going to run him. There'll be no play at home plate. 2 runs scored. That is Gavin Morgan. Crosses the plate for the first one. Rob Giolombardo for the second.
Yeah, that's a really good at-bat by Mitch Little. And as you said, Harrow just sort of chugged away and protected his batting zone, and then he just got one he liked and lifted it to left field, and it was one bounce over the head and into the wall.
Very patient at-bat as Mitch Little clears the bases for the Orioles, and he stands up at second base with that long double. I knew the left fielder would be in trouble from the time that left the bat. He was fielding in what would be a regulation short position. But I can tell you now that I think it's Connor Saintree out there. He ended up having to turn around. And that's the only position at this time of the day, except for a little bit of centre field where the sun is directly in their eyes. So that was part of his problem. The wind swirling around and the hard hit ball from Little.
Yep.
A well hit ball. So we're at the plate now with
Still
Cooper Horton, it will be.
And that's still only 1 out.
Cooper Horton had moved from shortstop to centre field. The number 45 checks down the line to get his signs. He knows what he has to do. He's got a runner in scoring position. They've picked up 2 runs to narrow that gap ever so much. They need to get a few runs every inning, and they need to shut down the attack from the Hawks when they're at the plate, obviously, with the bat. So called strike there. Horton not happy with that one. But it's his decision to make. If the batter makes the decision before the umpire gets a chance, then all is settled. Kyle Cross looks in for his signs, checks the runner at second. The only runner out there. Comes to the plate, misses outside and down in the dirt.
Discipline in the batting box.
Only 1 out now with a runner in scoring position. Horton, as you said, PMAC, needs to be disciplined. Needs to defend anything close. 3-1 the count. Be selective. 3 balls, 1 strike. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. So he didn't panic. Went to the full count.
Yeah, straight down the middle.
Decision time. What pitch does Ardle ask for from his pitcher? Full count pitch now. Pick off, he steps off, gets around, gets the runner back. Thinking that on the full count something may be going to happen, so Little may have been going to take off from second. Good chance of it. He's wide awake, Mitch Little. We reset. Horton gets ready for the full count pitch, and here it comes now. He lifts it into right field side. It will drop. It will drop fair. No, second base gets out there. That was good fielding from the second baseman out there for the Ride Hawks. That's Rob Solomons. He's been everywhere, and he fielded very deep there, Rob Solomons. He wouldn't normally be back that deep near the grass, but he was alert to that one, and he got that all-important out on Cooper Horton. Fly ball to position 4 brings up that second out.
Now Phil Ardle is just going to have a little bit of a chin wag to Kyle Cross. Just probably reminding him that, yep, it's 2 out.
Third batter in the lineup, Roger Morris, steps to the plate now and digs in. He got a single to left field side in his first appearance and crossed the plate for the second run of the game. Got on the second time with a wild throw, and the third time is out on a fly ball to centre field. So he's going to go centre left, I would suggest.
It comes into the postseason with a batting average of 3.23 after competing in 10 games, 31 at-bats.
Can he drive in the run of Mitch Little standing in scoring position? If he gets through the infield, I suggest he will. Little goes anyway, steals third.
Oh, and the pitch gets away. Pitch gets away from Phil Ardle.
Determined running there from Mitch Little.
It's a very high pitch. Not quite pitch out.
So anything through the infield will get MacArthur an extra run. It's a 9-6 score line at the moment here in the 5th inning. Sorry, top of the 6th inning.
Top of 6, yep.
Stand corrected.
No, you're not.
I'll sit corrected.
Thank you.
Halfway through the 6th inning, almost. But who's counting?
Not I, said the pig.
What does Cross offer up here for this batter? Roger Morris. Fouled off at home plate. As the game marches on. A few more crowd out there. The wind's still going.
Looks like it might be a little bit chilly outside as well.
That's why the windows and doors are closed, PMac.
No, that was just because the wind was howling through and it blew our bits of paper out the window before.
I just wanted to look at my cleaning.
Yeah, I noticed you missed the high spots.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Another one outside. Run. Oh, too late leaving Mitch Little.
Too late.
Runner at third was well down the line. If he had gone straight away, he may well have had a good chance of scoring an extra run there for the Orioles, but they're going to be patient. Fastball missing badly there from Kyle Cross. 2-2 the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Little at third base. Out nice and wide off that line. On the firm grass. 2-2 pitch from Cross to Roger Morris. Missing down low. That will fill the count. Next pitch comes in from Cross now. Fouled off. Roger Morris plate defence there. Standing well. So we reset again. This long at bat.
Long at bat.
Roger Morris still there at the plate. High out of the zone and walks. Morris walks to put runners on the corners for the MacArthur Orioles.
Yeah, way too high.
So very patient at bat from Morris, and that will bring to the plate number 52, and now left fielder Daniel Fulham, who moved from centre field earlier. And a manager's visit to the mound. We might take a short break as the score remains 9-6 here. Ride over MacArthur Orioles. And a change of pitcher coming up. We'll bring you the new pitcher very, very soon. And welcome back to the action here at Blacktown International Sports Park. We're having discussions about the change of pitcher for the Ride Hawks. It is, in fact, the designated hitter coming onto the mound and into the game. Dan Ellison is the pitcher now for the Ride Hawks. And he comes in, the number 14, of course, has been the designated hitter through the earlier part of this game, and now he steps up onto the mound. So high fly ball now, it goes to centre field. Yes, well caught out there in centre field by who is now Liam Naylor in centre field, and he gets that out off the batting of Daniel Fulham. So he becomes the third out. Fulham with a fly ball to centre field, and after all of that, the change of pitcher, it is Dan Ellison, one pitch, and gets the third out on the MacArthur Orioles in this top of the 6th innings. They add 2 more runs to their scoreboard, so it takes their tally to 6. So on the Red Stitches scoreboard, the score halfway through the 6th innings here in this grand final is Ride Hawks 9 runs, MacArthur Orioles 6 runs.
And speaking of Red Stitches, Harrow, they are located at Shop 65 Sefton Road, Thornlea, and they're open Monday to Friday 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. Why not give them a call on 9484 0736? You can slide in and see Ashley or one of her friendly staff to steal a great deal on all your baseball and softball needs. You can also shop online at www.redstitches.com.au. Browse their massive catalogue and pick up a great deal. Or, as we said before, give them a call, 9484 0736. Red Stitches are proud sponsors of the Summer of Baseball broadcasts.
And welcome back to Blacktown International Sports Park, where this 3rd grade grand final championship game continues between the Ride Hawks and the MacArthur Orioles. 9-6 is the scoreline, a 3-run ball game in what is an arm wrestle. We're at the bottom of the 6th innings, and leading off for Ride is Dean Lawrence.
And we were expecting it to be a bit of an arm wrestle, Harrow, but I thought that Ride might have actually taken too big a lead, but never die attitude of MacArthur Orioles, slowly pegging him back, and again, as you said, not panicked at all, because it is a 9-inning game after all. And as we see, the next pitch is well and truly high and out of the zone.
Just to add to my confusion, P-Mac, I've just been informed it may not be Dan Ellison, but Ben Erickson pitching.
Ben Erickson.
Ben Erickson.
That's close.
It's not what was written on the lineup sheet.
Absolutely.
And let's have a look at the stats, and that will soon tell us who it's likely to be for, of course, the Ride Hawks.
There is a Ben Erickson.
Is there a Dan Ellison is more the question.
No. That's why I couldn't find it earlier.
Well, one of the managers or coaches definitely can't write a lineup sheet, I can tell you right now.
Oh, where's that one gone?
High left field, foul over the fence down the left field side. Off the lead-off batter, Dean Lawrence's bat. He's a big guy, Dean Lawrence, in this 3rd grade grand final championship game.
Yeah, Ben Erickson, he's actually pitched as well.
Of course he has.
With an ERA of 3.18.
Yeah. And I haven't seen him for a long time, so I don't know what he looks like. I'm sure it would be the same. Ben Erickson.
I was going to say, surely it's not the same one from Manly.
Of course it would be. What else is he going to do?
Oh, you will be in trouble. You will be in trouble now.
Oh, no, I'm just being informed by one of our research people out there, the man that was on the broadcast a little bit earlier.
Thanks for listening. Oh, that's going to be a foul.
Thank you, Don. I will check out your last comment. I will check that out. That'll be the giveaway And I won't divulge what that is that you just told me, but as soon as I have a look again, I'll know that it's definitely Ben Erickson. You should read the line-up sheet. It says nothing like Ben Erickson.
No.
And both the scorer that gave me the line-up sheet wrote it in the scorebook that she had to track was
The same.
looked like Dan Ellison for all money. My apologies to Ben Erickson if that's the case. So Dean Lawrence still at the plate here now for the Ride Hawks. Fouls one off directly into the net behind home plate. Wow. We often comment on the writing that we get on line-up sheets, and that's a cracker. Very often we get line-up sheets with no Christian names, sometimes no surnames, mostly no numbers.
At least we... Oh, no, I was going to say we didn't because you had to get it. Oh, it turned on it.
Foul ball. Well down into the bullpen for the Ride Hawks. Very, very deep down the line.
Because you had to chase the scorers to actually get it yourself.
Yeah, and that wasn't easy. They were on a different floor to me. It's been suggested it's a fine cotton arrangement.
Oh,
We'll have to check his branding. We'll check the
it.
branding. They still brand horses.
Oh,
And
strike three.
rung up on a called strike there. And Lawrence thought he had gotten away with that one. He certainly attempted to influence the umpire. He got out of the box, went for a walk. The umpire called that strike. Dean Lawrence goes down on strikes. A KC at the end of that play. 1 up, 1 down, the Ride Hawks. They lead this game by 3 runs, 9-6 over MacArthur. They don't need to take too much for granted. It is a 9 innings game and we go all the way to a result. Called strike there on the next batter, Chris Dutton at the plate now. Dutt steps in. Next pitch comes in there from Ben Cobb. I take it is still Ben Cobb, yes.
Number 47, correct.
Yep. Good camera angle there, PMAC. Nice wide shot of the ground and those clouds out there in the nice blue sky.
Yeah, it's a lot different than this morning.
He lifts that one high into left field side. Can they get to it though? They're in the shade. Shortstop goes back for it. And that is number 54 heading back for that way out there, running from shortstop. And that was Jackson Mannix, as you tipped earlier. He moved from third base to shortstop. So Jackson Mannix goes back and makes a great catch there on the big high hit ball from Chris Dutton. So fly ball to position 6 brings up the second out. So all of a sudden Ride Hawks have gone 2 up, 2 down off the pitching of Ben Cobb.
Yeah, and it's a hello to our viewers that have actually logged online. Don't be scared to have a little bit of a chat and chat amongst yourselves, or if you've got questions, we'll answer them as best we can.
We may well give you an SMS number during the first grade game to tell us who you're supporting in that first grade series, who you're tipping to win the series. Can they do it in the 2 out of 3, win 2 back-to-back games?
I'll give them
or
your
will it
number.
go all 3 games? You can give them whatever number you like, PMAC.
I'll give them yours.
As long as we communicate. There is a ground ball there. 4-3 for that out on a charging Rob Solomons. 4-3 gets the out. 3 up, 3 down, Ride Hawks. And all of a sudden the momentum changes towards the MacArthur Orioles. They will be getting very enthusiastic at this point in time. After 6 completed innings here at Blacktown International Sports Park in the third grade grand final is Ride leading MacArthur on the Red Stitches scoreboard by 9 runs to 6. And welcome back to Blacktown International Sports Park, where we head to the top of the 7th innings in this 3rd grade grand final. Getting closer to the back end of the game right now. Leading off should be Lachlan Dean for MacArthur Orioles. And in fact it is. Big shout out to Monty up there on the Gold Coast and enjoying every day up there. And Monty, the 1st grade game, and for all of our viewers out there, will start about 30 minutes after the completion of this game. Of course, the schedule is running late due to rain earlier in the day, but the field in terrific condition, considering it's been in use all season. It's facing up pretty well. High fly ball down the right field side, and that is taken. So Lachlan Dean out on a fly ball to right fielder Dean Lawrence, and that gets the first out. 1 up, 1 down for MacArthur Orioles. So the first out, fly ball to right field side, and that will bring to the plate Jackson Mannix. Jackson Mannix now playing shortstop for the Orioles. Yeah, so we did start the first game of the day, the under-18s grand final, 90 minutes late, as the ground was prepared after rain and the covers removed. And they got a bit of air and a bit of sunshine, and the day has been magnificent ever since. So Mannix in there now, facing the pitching of Ben Erickson. Now that we've clarified that, thanks to everybody that helped us out with that. Gee whiz.
Sometimes it's a little bit harder than others.
I think we need to talk to the manager of the ride team. That's undoubtedly. So that one fouled off from Ericsson as well.
And it looks like there may be a defensive change at left field for the Ride Hawks. Looks like one of their under-18s. Ewan Nay has come in, as we just see that pitch get blown past Mannix.
Yep, Mannix it
was.
Strike 3. So a second out now, 2 up, 2 down for MacArthur Orioles here in the top of the 7th innings. That's not going to help their scoreboard tally. We'll have to see if Gavin Morgan, the first baseman, can get something started here and rescue the 7th innings for the Orioles. But Ben Erickson might have something to say about that. Nice curveball there. As he drops one down, starts it high, drops it down into the zone. Gets called strike off plate umpire Phil Choi. And of course the umpire at first base today has been Nick Glazenbrook, and at third base Paul Jones. All doing a very good job. Ground ball to second base. Well handled there by the second baseman. He did a great job out there, Rob Solomons, and got it off to his first baseman and did a fantastic job. So Gavin Morgan out on a 4-3 ground ball. And MacArthur Orioles go 3 up, 3 down. That shuts them down here in the top half of the 7th innings, and we'll be back for the bottom of the 7th innings very, very soon with the scoreline at 9-6 on the Red Stitches scoreboard. And welcome back to the game here where Liam Keat steps in for the Ride Hawks to lead off the bottom of the 7th innings. Ben Cobb remains on the mound for the MacArthur Orioles. Last innings, Ride went 3 up, 3 down, so if Ben Cobb and his teammates can repeat that.
And just having a quick look at the chat line. It's afternoon, Nicole and Melinda and Random Things. Hope you're enjoying and tuned in. And want to send us a bit of feedback or ask a question.
Lots of feedback
hoping that you're having a bit of a laugh like we do, because we enjoy what we do.
So lots of viewers there. Be ready for the first grade action, which will be 30 minutes after this approximately.
Yeah, and so because as we did make mention before, there was a lot of rain overnight here, but thankfully the MacArthur Orioles guys that were here last night, they put their covers down at around about 10:30 after the grand final of the women's B grade, as we just see this next pitch come in, and Liam Kite looks like he's fouled that one off.
He liked it. He took a big swing at it.
Yeah, big hack at it, but that's 2-2. So, yeah, the covers have saved the day in more ways than one. Very good draining outfield as well, of course, being on a sand profile, as ball 4 is taken by Liam Height, and he strolls up to first base.
So a runner on now for leading off for Ride in this bottom of the 7th. And for those of you that are getting ready for the first grade game and keen to tune in, you'll be happy to know that big Cam Hickson is here. He has arrived at the venue. He's downstairs doing his warm-ups.
Yes, we got the talent here. So he's
flown in directly to Blacktown International Sports Park at no expense.
Finished his rugby league commitments, and now he's here.
He'll be all tuned in.
Dear. And so that first pitch is down out of the zone.
For Ben Erickson.
Pitcher.
Dear, oh dear.
You're excused, Taro. And it looks like he's actually tagged that one, and it's going high to right field, and the right fielder for MacArthur gets underneath it in plenty of time and holds the runner, Liam Kite, at first base.
Ben Erickson out on a fly ball to position 9 right field. 1 out, 1 on. And Erickson heads back to the dugout now. Don Byloder was correct on clear identification of Ben Erickson.
Well, good thing about it is at least he's watching the broadcast.
He certainly is, very keenly tuned in.
He's probably sitting in the veranda with his cap on.
Oh, I doubt it. Keeping the sun out of his eyes. Rob Hill at the plate now for Ride.
Straight down. So, yep.
And that was not Rob Hill. It is number 44.
That would be Stuart Munro.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we have just been given that information from another one of our research departments.
We've got them coming from everywhere.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Well, we don't mind as long as we actually get the correct information, or as close to. So we thank all assistants.
Certainly do. So where did he hit that ball to, PMAC?
Straight down, come back straight through the mound and rolled out to centre field.
Thanks for that.
Welcome.
The short answer is centre field.
Yeah, I realised after I started talking.
Single to 8. Puts a runner on and moves Liam Keat around into second base and scoring position for Ride.
Funky Phil should be in the batting box.
Funky Phil is in the batting box with number 55 on his back. He's done a good job of catching this third grade grand final today.
So,
big shout out to all the third grade followers throughout the season as well. We know you have on Sundays you have an early morning, Saturdays you have an early afternoon in those games. And thanks for following the third grade teams throughout the season in the State League Baseball of New South Wales.
And third grade, a lot of club people that, there's been talk over the years about, do you rationalise, and I'll use that term, and try and remove the third grade so as you have more all over and done with within the one day. But Yeah, that one thing that they forget is that third graders are generally the club players or the club people.
Certainly are. They help
cook
out
the
throughout the
barbecue,
day. I think we've got a pigeon in trouble, PMAC.
Oh, no. It's not in trouble. It's got wings. It can fly.
Something's chasing it. Why did it hit that wall and chair?
That's because it got stuck in the net.
Yeah.
Thought it was a foul ball. Oh,
and
Phil
rung up
done.
on strikes, and Phil's not happy, but he decides to change that to a smile. It wasn't a grimace, it was a smile. Down on strikes, KC called on Phil Ardle. That brings up the second out on the Ride Hawks here. 2 runners on base, 1 in scoring position in the form of Leon Keat at second. We go back to the top of the order now. This would be Connor Saintree.
Sainsbury.
Sainsbury?
Yep.
Thanks, PMAC. Still getting bad information from somewhere.
Nah. That one was always good.
It's not him either. He was number 58. This is number 24.
It was.
Oh, dear. Yes, it was him. Sainsbury was there at some stage. He played left field.
That's correct.
So PMAC refers to the research engine beside us again. As that next pitch comes in and gets fouled off behind home plate into the back net.
They're showing me one finger, which I don't know what that signals is.
No,
you and Nay. There we go.
Number 24. Oh, PMAC, I recall a sign being put up against the window for you a little bit earlier. I didn't know what it referred to, though. It's you and Nay coming from the under-18s. High fly ball to the right side. Will they get to it out there? Yes, they do, in the right field side. And at the present moment out there, it's still Rob Giolombardo who takes that catch off the bat of Ewan Nay from the under-18s game. And that is a high fly ball to the right field side. Fly 9, and that brings up the third out. And a Ride Hawks leave 2 runners stranded out there. Do not add to the scoreboard here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And after 7 innings completed in the third grade grand final from Blacktown International Sports Park, it is the Ride Hawks 9 runs leading MacArthur Orioles 6.
And welcome back to Blacktown International Sports Park, where you are listening to the Summer of Baseball. It's Harrow and I'm PMAC coming to you live and loud. It is the third grade grand final between the Ride Hawks and the MacArthur Orioles. And it looks like there is a change in the batting box for MacArthur, as Harrow is just going to get that one down at the moment. Jordan Butterfield is the new batter. No other changes as far as I can see.
We'll find Jordan in our statistics there, I'm sure.
I can. I've just found him there, batting 211 post-season, or coming into this round.
And he goes down on strikes, PMAC.
Okay. I'll leave it at that.
1 up, 1 down. as Butfield strikes out there for the MacArthur Orioles in the lead-off position, top of the 8th inning. And we go to Rob Giolombardo, the right fielder.
I guess that by the name on the shirt.
He's had a strikeout, a walk and a single to left field in his previous 3 appearances at the plate this afternoon. Let's see what he can do here in the top of the 8th inning. And in the top of the 8th inning, it is MacArthur trailing Ryde by 3 runs only. Can MacArthur get a couple of those runs back and narrow the gap? It remains to be seen. Let's see what Giolombardo can do off the pitching of Ben Erickson.
And Harrow, just need to throw a quick shout out back to Nicole. We thank you for listening and telling your friends, and we can tell you the pigeon is fine.
It walked away unharmed.
No pigeons were hurt at this ground.
Yeah, it didn't fly away. It walked away unharmed. It was disillusioned.
That's right.
Being chased by, what did you say, a hawk or an oriole?
It was a hawk or an oriole. One of the others were chasing it.
Where the Ryde Hawks play the MacArthur Orioles right now in front of us. Rob Giolombardo at the plate. And we're waiting for a result. Who wins the battle between Giolombardo and Erickson? Erickson throws one wide outside, trying to tempt Giolombardo to take a swing, but he doesn't.
And there has been a request for some music in between games, but at this stage, not going to happen at the moment, only because of some licensing
and copyright
issues that still need to be resolved. So I'm not going to put ourselves into any compromising
position. Nobody can really tell us what license we have to have or what permit we have to have. To be honest, we have to deal directly with the production companies, apparently, individually. So it's a bit tricky. We had a broadcast during the World Boys Championship that was cut off midstream.
Even though we've done all the right things, we believe to.
Not going to risk that again.
Anyway.
And for what is basically a volunteer organisation, we don't have lots of money to pay for things like that, unfortunately. So Erickson back to the mound again, gets ready after the ball's been on a little bit of a journey around the ground. Giolombardo facing the next pitch. It's a 3-2, full count. Blocks that one away, foul.
Yep. Just landed in the back net and almost took out some of the Oriole players.
One out, top of the 8th inning. A result to come from this 3-2 pitch from Erickson now to Giolombardo. Ground ball, a little shopper. It goes to second baseman who gets it off to his first baseman. They get the out. Good hands. Great hands there from Rob Solomons. He's been everywhere all day. That was a great work from Solomons across to Chris Dutton at first base.
Wouldn't want to be picking a MVP on this game, Harry, because there's been a few people have contributed to a lot of different things.
They certainly have. They've been everywhere, some of them. Mitch Little, we go back to the top of the order for the catcher for the Orioles. Mitch Little steps in, and the sun's slowly setting in the west. Almost all of the field covered in shade now, except for some edges out near the warning track and through centre field. So lights will be going on shortly, PMAC. It's now 6:30 in the evening.
Oh, I thought they were timed for 6 o'clock.
Maybe you're correct, PMAC. You thought it.
See, yeah, I don't get paid. I shouldn't think, should I?
Didn't make it happen.
No. Is that like using the secret?
Tap on the window to the research department again and find out when the lights come on. And he did. Mitch Little, top of the order here for MacArthur Orioles. They've got to make up a 3-run deficit with only a few innings left to go.
I just got a signal that I don't understand.
Was it the one finger signal again, or was it 2 this time?
No.
Ground ball to shortstop. Goes straight to his glove. Regulation out. 6-3 play. Just like shelling peas, the 6-3 play there. And the 6 is Stuart Munro. I believe he was in there. And no, they've changed a few others around. He got it across there and got the out. Good play anyway with the fielding changes, but Mitch Little is the 3rd out. MacArthur Orioles go 3 up, 3 down in the top half of the 8th inning with no score added to their tally on the board. So halfway through the 8th innings, it is Ride Hawks 9 runs, leading MacArthur Orioles 6 runs on the Red Stitches scoreboard. And welcome back to Blacktown International Sports Park, where the third grade grand final continues. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and leading off for the Ride Hawks is Liam Naylor. No changes on the mound. It is still Ben Cobb doing a terrific job there for MacArthur Orioles, as that one gets lifted to left field side. Running it down in left field. Out there is, let me see, is it Liam Naylor? No, he's moved to centre field. Left fielder takes that catch in any case. It may well be Ewan Nay, I think, that's gone out there.
Yes.
Ewan Nay in left field. And a great running catch there, luckily in the shade. And that is 1 up, 1 down with Liam Naylor being out. It's not Ewan Nay playing left field. That's the batting team. Silly Paul. Number 7 is Daniel Fulham that went to left field side. So Daniel Fulham is in left field taking a great running catch. Turn the page. And Liam Naylor is that first out with a fly ball to 7. Here's another pop-up going to shortstop. And that is out as well. No. And taking that is the number 54, which is Jackson Mannix. Jackson Mannix.
Just trying to get some information.
Don't talk, please. Number 54, Jackson Mannix. Fly ball position 6. And another good out there. 2 up, 2 down there for the Ride Hawks as they get deep into this 8th inning, the bottom of the 8th. They lead by 3 runs. Chris Dutton steps up to the plate now, number 36.
I've just been told.
Thank you, PMAC. What have you been told?
Ardle is the shortstop for Ride. But he can't be because he's been catching.
For the 9th inning, maybe he will be.
Yeah, but the request that came through from the chat line was who was the Ride shortstop, which is why I asked our research department.
Ah, okay. Stuart Munro? Or did he go to catcher? Don't know. There's changes we haven't been given.
Changes that we have not been given.
I don't think so. I think Ardle has been catcher. Third base side. Bouncer into first base. They get the out on the 5-3 play. Good ground ball. Good hurl there. 5-3 for the third out. Ride go 3 up, 3 down in this bottom of the 8th inning. And the young fella at third base, we haven't been given his name yet, but he did just come into the field for that 8th inning. And he did an excellent job, and we'll see if we can pick up who that is. And he's possibly out of one of the earlier games or on the reserve list that we don't in fact have. Unfortunately, we apologise for that. Not much we can do about it with no information. So after 8 innings completed here at Blacktown International Sports Park in the third grade grand final, we have Ride Hawks leading MacArthur Orioles still 9 runs to 6. And welcome back. It is the top of the 9th inning. In this grand final, the decision will be made after 9 innings or 8.5. Ryde are leading this game and they're batting in the bottom of the inning. It's MacArthur's last roll of the dice. They are 3 outs away from the defeat. Ryde are 3 outs away from winning this grand final championship game in the 3rd grade competition of State League Baseball New South Wales. And running round down the first base side, a catch. Yes, it's been made in fair territory out there at first base, and that is Liam Keat, I think, at 38. I'll just double check that number. If it is, then he's moved, that's for sure.
36.
It's 36. He's been there all day. Chris Dutton, he's still there. He turned around, and I thought that 6 had turned into an 8. So Cooper Horton, that was, out on a play at first base. Fly ball to the first base side to position 3, 1 up, 1 down. 1 up, 1 down, and at the plate now it's Roger Morris. His 5th plate appearance of the afternoon. Got a single to left field side, wild throw 6, a fly ball to centre field for an out and a walk in his last appearance. Pops one up now to right field side. Second baseman going back for it, and he's made no mistakes all day. The second baseman, Rob Solomons. He's had a very solid game, Solomons, and that's Roger Morris out on a fly ball to position 4 to bring up the second out. 1 more out away, and MacArthur Orioles, the Ryde Hawks will be celebrating, and MacArthur Orioles' season will be done.
And we can confirm now that it is Phil Ardle at shortstop, Harrow.
He's a bit taller, isn't he?
Yeah. And there has been a change on the behind the plate, obviously.
Sensational of the catcher, and there's another out. No, it's not. It's a 1-hopper into right field. And out there on base, Daniel Fulham gets on base for the Orioles. He's trying to keep the flame alive.
Yeah, that was a do-or-die play by the right fielder for the Hawks, and all guts and glory, so he took a big lunge to try and get that, but bounced just in front of him. So, so the MacArthur Orioles, and they've just put a pinch runner on at first base, uniform number 43, that we have no clue. But that's neither here nor there.
PMAC referring to the research department in the next room one more time as Lachlan Dean, Lockie Dean, I think, or is it? Yes, it is Lockie Dean at the plate. He's been there all day. And he steps up now, it gets in. Runner from first goes to second, turns and goes to third. So now with the runner in scoring position, Daniel Fulham, the runner for Daniel Fulham, I should say, has turned the corner and gone to third base. So that's why they got the Rabbits out there. He runs like mad. He's standing at third in scoring position. Lockie Dean is standing at first base. Runners on the corners for the MacArthur Orioles, and Jackson Mannix at the plate.
It is 2 out. And they are still trailing by 3.
And they need all of them to keep the game alive.
So the tying run at the plate for the MacArthur Orioles at this moment.
Yep, certainly is. So Mannix steps in, facing the pitching of Ben Erickson. Rips one foul right down the right field line. That does go well and truly foul. So Erickson sets again. Runners on the corners. The pitcher for the Ryde Hawks is number 59, one of the players off the bench. We haven't been given a list of bench players, unfortunately.
I think most of the time they actually just put the whole club, Harrow.
Yeah, they write club and that's it.
But we'll see what happens. But it's 2 out, runners in the corners. And that one looks like that's going to be fouled off into the same spot.
Down the right side between almost to the bullpen for MacArthur. So pitcher and catcher for the Ryde Hawks trying to get something done here. They've got a 3-run buffer, but the tying run stands at the plate in the form of Jackson Mannix. If he can get a ball into the wind, may go deep. Score a run at least. That one gets through.
Score one.
We'll get one of those runs back Jackson Mannix drives in the run of Daniel Fulham. So they narrow the gap to 2 runs. Tying run now stands at first base, with Mannix getting a single to position 9. And Lachlan Dean standing in scoring position at second base.
And a bit of momentum that's coming back towards the MacArthur Orioles side of the ballpark.
They've still got a buffer of a couple of runs though, PMAC, especially with 2 out. Rob Solomons comes in from second base, has a quick word with Ben Erickson, and his catcher goes out and has a chat as well.
Yeah, but you can hear, and no pun intended, but you can hear the chirping from both sides.
Absolutely, it's an important part of the game. There are 2 out here, and it could be the end for the Orioles. They've got a 2-run buffer to make up to continue the game. Gavin Morgan at the plate now. First baseman. He rips one foul down the right side. The game in the balance. Tying run at first base. Wheels are on base. Lachlan Dean at second has got a set of wheels. Do they eke away slowly? Do they try and get it all in one hit off Gavin Morgan? Drives one to right field side. There's a man out there. He will get to it. He won't get to it. He bobbles it in front of him. They score 1. They score 1 more run. Gavin Morgan gets a ball to right field side. Lachlan Dean crosses the plate, turning the corner all the way from second. Jackson Mannix, I should say, stands at third base. How do they score this tying run? It was Jordan Butfield at the plate last time. Now it's number 73.
Oh, mate.
Oh, mate, number 73. Well done, PMAC. Right, call their defence in.
And
they're trying to stop this.
Research department are giving me another strange signal that I don't quite understand.
Oh, I think I've seen that one before, PMAC. Runners on the corners for MacArthur.
Bolton.
A 1-run ball game.
Okay, it looks like it might be Jude Bolton. That's not Jude Bolton. That's the wrong game. It's Bolton is the fellow's name. I'll see if we've got him here somewhere. Harrison Bolton.
Harrison Bolton steps in. He'll be a miracle worker for the MacArthur Orioles if he can get a run away. They've got runners on the corners. A new batter at the plate. Pinch hitter again in this slot, the 8 slot. He is the 4th batter that's been in the 8 slot today.
Tying run 90 feet away.
Tying run stands at third base, as PMAC just alluded to. MacArthur need that run across the plate to keep this game alive. It's a grand final championship game. Bolton takes the first pitch for a strike. Has he had a ball as well?
Yeah, he's
2
had a ball.
pitches, 1 ball, 1 strike. Even count now as Erickson looks in for the sign. The runner at first doesn't matter. Gavin Morgan. Fouled off into the MacArthur dugout by the number 73. They have to be confident here. Ryde, likewise, have to be confident on their ability to shut this game out. It is 9-8. Grand final time. How does the pressure work here? That's in play. It will be an out, I'm sure. A ground ball to second base. Solomon gets it across to Dutton at first base. They win the game by 1. A brave effort by the MacArthur Orioles to try and come back. They just didn't make it. They get 2 runs in the top of the 9th innings to take their tally to 8. But they get the last batter, Harrison Bolton, out on a 4-3 play. Well done there by the MacArthur Orioles. A good fight back attempted, but a better well done to the Ryde Hawks. Taking that game, keeping themselves solid and being confident in their play and their ability to close this game down. They win the grand final in State League Baseball New South Wales, 3rd grade competition. They win the championship by 9 runs to 8. Ride over MacArthur on the Red Stitches scoreboard. What a sensational game at the end. It got a bit drawn down and bogged down in the middle.
Yeah.
But at the end of play, I can tell you what, that was pretty dramatic for both clubs over the last 1.5 innings. That was a brilliant ending. And a one-run ball game after playing against each other all season in a long competition. Both clubs have done very, very well.
And it's as we actually alluded to early in the game, prior to the game and midway through the game, it was going to be an arm wrestle all the way up until the last out. And what you've just witnessed in front of you, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that was an absolute arm wrestle, and what a grand final should be. It comes down to potentially one pitch either way it could have gone, so the scores could have been locked up, but yeah, unfortunately for the MacArthur, didn't quite bounce your way this time. Ride Hawks, they came out of the blocks early and they capitalised on the opportunities that they were given, and as a result they went ahead and they got the game done 9-8.
Had the lead and kept it. Thanks for tuning into our broadcast. We'll have a short break. And we may even have a short break in transmission while we reset. Otherwise, you will see some static shots of the field in the meantime. But we're just waiting on a start time for the first grade game. And as soon as we get that, we can put it up on screen and we'll tell you exactly what that is. But it will be, I believe, at least 30 minutes break between games. But we'll see if we can confirm that and put it up on screen for you. In the meantime, tell your friends and tell your family, tune into the broadcast and be ready for Game 1 of the 3-game championship series for first grade in State League Baseball, New South Wales. I'm Harrow and he's PMac.
See ya.